past the lights gripping tightly, trapping all those fighting souls. But yet, across the world I see you standing in my way. I remember the time, the place we used to fight, the sun and moon, and I wonder if ever there was a time that we were friends. Night has fallen, shadows looming, and yes, the time has come for me to seek you out. We are set now for our last reunion. Break the chains, find your way, come find me. Do you remember who you really are? Show me that you are still the only one for me. I'll be waiting for you. We will clash, no matter where. We will fight, reaching across time and space. 'Cause you are my destiny to the end. Do you see the dawn, the flames burning brightly, shining on those memories? And yes, across the time I see you turning the tide. And do you see now, our time, our turn, we can still fight like the wind and the fire, and wonder no more. But now is the only time your heart is mine. Night has fallen, darkness grows, and as we fight for our destiny and faith, new days smiling for the past and future. Break the chains, lead the way, fight with me. Show me that you are still the only one that matters for me. I'll be waiting for you. The spark's in you, ready to light it up. We are rivals till the end of time.
My name is Diatonic, and I am joined here by Nightmare today. Nightmare, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, and what a set of games we are locked in for today. I am so excited to go ahead and see how it's going to wrap up today, Diatonic.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, this is week number 3 of the MRL, so plenty of action already come your way so far. So getting to the end of that group stage or that Swiss stage that we're in right now, and then going to advance to those playoffs. So top 2 teams from each division will be your playoff teams. So still some hope for some of these teams, and I think we've got a couple matches today of teams on the bubble of that qualifier spot. So obviously, a lot of stakes on the line, a lot of drama in these last couple matchups here.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And we do see quite a few teams actually, as you said, right on the verge of kind of moving up the bracket, right? We do have Black Viper and even Apollo just moving on up. They're kind of tied in the standings. If we can go ahead and have that pulled up at all production, that'd be awesome. But otherwise, we're going to have some great games on today. What are you expecting to kind of see, Diatonic, after this meta change? Season 5, everybody's kind of experienced Gambit quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, now we're a couple weeks into season 5, right? Things are starting to settle. We're starting to see a few things being emergent. Triple strategist still strong as always. No big surprise there. But personally, I've been seeing a lot of 1-2-3 comps: 1 tank, 2 DPS, 3 support,
Mhm.
especially on the collegiate side of the rivals competitive space. So kind of curious to see if that still holds up. But yeah, I feel like right now Gambit is very much a pick or a ban. I mean, obviously, very different from a lot of the strategists that we've gotten in game up to now. Very much redefining that role a little bit in a lot of ways. But again, like I've been seeing the Gambit Loki Mantis backline. I've seen
Mhm.
Gambit Loki Rocket. I mean, there's a lot of Gambit and a lot of Loki running around. But otherwise, though, a lot of the meta I feel hasn't shifted too drastically away from season 4. At least not what I've seen so far.
hmm I do think that there is a lot of options still to be going and explored
Mm-hmm.
against Gambit in general. But one of the utilities that's kind of really blown up in the DPS side of it is the fall off, I would say, of Bucky due to the cleanse from Gambit, right? Really stopping any of those initial fall offs for Loki, right? Being able to go ahead and give those agains, those free Kraken impacts, but otherwise, we'll see if anyone's really kind of changing up the meta in that right. That's why Hawkeye is kind of so prevalent too. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know that Hella Namor line still gets some play. That team up,
hmm
very powerful, very nasty stuff, especially for the heel cut, right? That seems to be the direction the meta is moving in. Especially, with Gambit now also having some healing reduction too. So I feel like that's the direction we're really heading. But we do have a whole slate of matchups here. Some of the teams at the top, and like we said, on that bubble, of course, going to be playing against one another today. I know we're going to be starting off with Crimson Eclipse and Menace playing against one another. I know Menace is kind of at the top of the leaderboard, still on that potential playoff bubble, but every potential there to fall out of contention and miss playoffs. So that's kind of the beauty of a format like this, where even up to the very last week, no one is truly safe. So you do kind of have to finish out the season strong instead of going on a hot streak at the very beginning and saying, oh cool, I can kick my feet up now and just enjoy the last couple weeks and have fun in my playoff run. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And Crimson looking for that first solid win, trying to go ahead and scrounge up against, to be fair, a tough opponent tonight, but hopefully they can go ahead and bring something a little bit spicy to the format for us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even at the bottom of the leaderboard, right, there's still
hmm
opportunities to get some experience, build that chemistry within your team. And that's kind of what it's about when you're outside of that Ignite MRC space. When you're trying to level up, you're looking for every opportunity to play against players that are better than you. You kind of have to take the lumps there to get to that next level. But yeah, it is going to be Crimson Eclipse and Menace taking on one another here first. I think we're about ready to jump into that. But I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward. It's been a lot of innovation the first couple weeks, season 5, trying some things, and like you said, Nightmare, no answer to Gambit quite yet, but I am curious to see if somebody has something that can stop him other than a nice first ban in the draft phase.
Right? Uh, we'll have to see for sure. I want to know if any of these players are really going to go ahead and spice up the lobbies with more than just the typical bans in general. I do think letting Gambit through just makes the games a little bit too difficult. But if both teams are really going to go ahead and mirror, it really just comes down to which strategist kind of uses their abilities better. So, see.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like strategist bans have never really fallen out of popularity in the draft phase. Some teams still rocking the quad strategist ban strategy in draft, and now it feels like even more than ever it's super important. And there are some tools to get into the backline. Daredevil's still kind of fresh here. Of course, really great to just dive right in on backline. There's plenty of dives still running around. Dive never dies in Rivals, but yeah, I feel like we haven't shifted a ton, but it seems like several heroes now that have released in a row have immediately made a meta impact. I mean, I think that Angela might be, of the last 4 or 5 heroes we've gotten, maybe the weakest. She's really great in the right hands, but almost every other hero is an immediate meta piece. If you watched Ignite Grand Finals, you saw Daredevil almost every map that he wasn't banned. A lot of these new heroes coming out, Gambit immediately, everyone's picking up Gambit. So it does seem like we're kind of moving in this new direction. Heroes are getting stronger and immediately coming in and making a splash, but that's good for the game, right? New hero, especially something like Gambit and Rogue, very popular Marvel characters, to immediately come in and have a competitive impact, I think is great.
Yeah, I think it's actually really refreshing for them to go ahead and actually add characters and kind of just shift the meta in that format, because it really does give a breath of fresh air to anyone that's kind of playing the game, including other characters that might kind of just been hiding in the woodworks, really looking for a time to shine, and they get that real moment for them, right? I want to see, please, Gambit Magic, somebody pull it out, please.
I have not seen it yet. I haven't gotten an opportunity to see it. I mean, I picked up Magneto at the very end of 4.5 because I was like, oh, he's going to have a team up with Gambit. Awesome. Good idea to learn this hero now. And yeah, I've been playing a lot of Magneto, so I've gotten to see that team up in action, which has been fun. But yeah, there's still some pieces we haven't seen yet. I feel like it's nice to see that even though we do kind of have this set of probably like 15 to 20 heroes that are really good competitively, you don't really see just straight mirrors across both teams. I feel like it's very rare. Sometimes we'll see the same DPS line or the same back line, but really it feels like there is enough variety, and as heroes keep getting released that are popular, or powerful, I should say, that variety keeps increasing. But we are almost ready to throw this thing over to our first match between Crimson Eclipse and Menace. You can see lineup here for Menace, and living up to the namesake, there are some menaces on these choice heroes for sure. Psylocke, a deadly weapon basically since the start of Marvel Rivals, I feel like.
Yep, we do also have that magic that I was just kind of pointing out there, but honestly, the thing is the most surprising, I want to say, like, he hasn't found a proper spot in any meta so far. Even in dive, he feels kind of lackluster. So at the moment, I really do think with his new changes, adding that 25% damage reduction off to whoever he kind of jumps onto is kind of something that is underutilized currently, but I'm happy to kind of see if it'll pop out tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I love the thing. I've played a ton of thing. And they keep giving him more and more tools, but I never feel like it's enough to get him to stick in the competitive meta. You see him every once in a while, very rare occasion, but yeah, just not quite there yet. And I agree with you. I think some of his kit is underutilized, but yeah, I mean, looking at this team, very, very aggressive. If these are the comfort picks, and if they do bring out these heroes, I mean, you got the thing up in your face, you got Angela, Shish Kebab, and everybody off the map. You got Magic and Psylocke all up in the mix. Like, whew, that is a quite aggressive lineup for them for sure. I have to imagine these are the favorite characters of these players, at least.
Oof, yeah. I can't wait. I honestly, it seems like none of them are really going to be having any changes to their lineup. I'd imagine, honestly, just looking from their aggression, that you drop just Luna and you add the Gambit here and you just run this comp if at all possible. So, and now we get to go ahead and see Crimson Eclipse's, standard. Actually, it seems like most of their heroes are actually quite meta at the moment. So this is going to be a matchup to see, other than, I guess, Venom at the moment.
Yeah, don't see a ton of Venom. Moon Knight has had an interesting path over the last couple seasons. Back in like season 3, he was pretty much like a siege breaker, great for getting out of a spawn hold, but now he's got so much utility, so much use once you actually get down the path of a convoy map, that I see a lot more Moon Knight than I ever have before, which is awesome. I feel like super underutilized. Love the character, so great to see him out and about. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of outside the random Venom. One of these things quite doesn't belong here. But yeah, the rest of this lineup is very nasty, very competitive, lots of very common comp choices right now. So very, very smart lineup, I think, overall.
I wonder if there's going to be any real additions. Like you said, the Daredevil has had enough time to kind of cook in its kitchen, right? For everyone else to kind of give him time to see what it is to be Matt Murdock in the back lines. But it seems like we're about to go ahead and get into our games. So
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be those two lineups definitely make for an interesting matchup. I mean, I feel like Crimson Eclipses, and again, you know, you never know what's gonna happen in draft, right? Things can really change depending on.
I do see that he would have a difficult time getting away at the very end. They do end up banning Angela, so we don't get all of the newer heroes right off rip, but, you know, we're going to get a spicy game nonetheless. It seems like most of them are prioritizing a lot of their damage focus. We're even locking in the Bucky.
Yeah, they're going after damage pretty heavily. I mean, they did save a couple duelists here, but yeah, I mean, we're going to Celestial Husk for map number 1. Angela makes sense to me. Enough environmental hazards to make her more of a threat than on a map that doesn't have cliffs on it. So I can definitely see that. But yeah, I'm with you. There's not a lot of strategists coming out in this draft phase, so there's going to be a lot of backline tools on the board for both of these teams. And yeah, so Gambit saved by Crimson Eclipse, and the Magneto going to be saved from Menace. So that team up is on the board, and that team up is nasty, man. That is some serious damage on a pretty short cooldown, I think.
And now we just go ahead and ban the Hela to stop the Hela Namor as being an issue as well, even though we do save the kind of the Bucky on the back end. I do think that's kind of smart, right? The anti-heal that kind of be quite nasty versus Gambit themselves, kind of seeing as his healing numbers are relatively on the lower end, I would say, in comparison to kind of a higher end main strat. But he does so much damage, so much utility otherwise that
Pick your hero
doesn't even matter.
or villain. I'm not judging.
Very interesting, rounding out with a cap ban. So they're banning a little bit of dive here and saving a little bit of dive. It's an interesting draft phase, and you know, you see some interesting things in the MRC style comparatively. So depending on what you watch or what kind of tournaments you watch, you know, you can see some different strats coming out from these teams. But that is draft phase here for map number 1. Gambit on the table, Gambit Magneto team up on the table, but no Hela Namor. So yeah, I feel like a lot of strategists got away with a lot of things in this draft phase from both sides of the board. I mean, you know, Loki is on the table. Mantis, of course, kind of have to do something about Mantis, but they have access to almost anything they would want to run here. So yeah, I think this should be a pretty solid matchup. You know, I do see a couple of names I'm familiar with here. Baby Bat on Menace, definitely remember her from I believe it was Dawncore maybe, and then Abuhu, I think formerly of maybe Alcacia. There's a couple names here I definitely recognize, but man, this should be pretty interesting. You know, we've got a team from the top of the leaderboard facing off with the bottom. Big upset potential here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here. I feel big opportunities for a pretty interesting match.
Absolutely, and it seems like Menace is actually opting in for quite an aggressive response, going with the Venom and Daredevil. They're actually looking for a kidnap.
A shortcut to space.
With those portals here, they are jumping right into it. Strange portal, taking it straight to Crimson Eclipse, and first blood drawn by Menace. That's monoclonal on the Venom there. Hex gonna follow up with a KO as well. Big team fight win here right out of the gate before the point is even unlocked. Menace finding 3 KOs here, and that will give them control over point number 1 here.
Yep, and it's the typical Clintar first point hold. It's really difficult to kind of walk in on this map, seeing as there's a lot of areas to kind of move on the point, but also a lot of areas for the defense to kind of hold you from moving forward. Seems like Silent's gonna have to try to find these angles with the Moon Knight as well, but he's getting covered from Mongoggle's Venom.
Yeah, I mean, really solid stuff here from Menace. Crimson Eclipse, good on the rotate here, trying to take the fight to a little bit higher ground here. Menace prepped for that, though, here, as, of course, a little bit of neutral here, but if you've watched enough Rivals, you know, neutral does not last too long here. Big choke slam there from Voodoo on the side of Crimson Eclipse there, and that will take the Venom down. So 1 KO there for Crimson as they get back into the fight pretty quickly here. They recovered from that team fight pretty swiftly, and Xan on the side of Crimson will find a Boo as well. So 2-3 members now of Menace. Double KO there for the Doctor Strange, and Crimson Eclipse will make the flip there. So maybe not an explosive team fight win there, but pretty big, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. We do have every ult on Crimso's side actually coming up soon as well. Menace is a little bit behind, so I do want to say that they have the advantage here, especially if they kind of run the gambits at the start. It seems like Menace is looking for that big angle though first.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we got ults coming down here. There is a Moon Knight ult on the board here from Silenty on the side of Crimson Eclipse. Menace going to respond to that Insong Inferno dropping down here, and a Boohoo looking for that Eye of Agamotto as well. Doesn't look like it finds its mark there, but will pick up the Bucky on the side of Crimson Eclipse. So 1 KO out of this fight for Menace here, but already converging onto the point here. Big plays from Crimson, though. The Moon Knight going clutch there to take out half of the team on the side of Menace there. Abuhu and Monoclonal pretty low too, and Buddha will finish the job onto Doctor Strange there. So Crimson Eclipse maintains control and now surpasses in capture progress.
As I said, they had every ult ready to hold, so it's perfect for them to kind of go ahead and hold against Menace. It seems like we're going to have to go ahead and try to dive their backline just a smidge better. They have that absolutely perfect timing with Invis and Gambit, since they don't have support ult, so they need to go ahead and try to get that one-shot potential now with Venom.
Yeah, absolutely. Diving on in here. Monoclonal and the Feast of the Abyss comes out as well. Crap, letting out the Devil there and finding the Winter Soldier on the side of Crimson Eclipse, but it's a trade here for now, but Minutes will even the score there, finding the backline of Crimson Eclipse, and it is now cleanup duty for Menace here, looking to make the flip on this point with no healers alive for Crimson Eclipse there. Job's not quite done yet, but they will make that flip, and finally 50% and climbing for Menace.
They're going to need to win 2 fights here. The Crimson only needs 1. Hopefully they can go ahead and walk on forward here. They're looking for the second on impact as they're walking over, but it seems like they're going to need such better angle. They're all looking to the top side left angle. It seems like we're going to need Voodoo to go ahead and get a great ulti off the top.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've got a wombo combo in the works here, but it's going to be Menace that opens things up. That Raging Royal Flush coming out strong, and an Invisible Boundary from Baby Bat as well to keep the team on the point and in the fight here, quickly gaining ground and gaining some KOs there. Almost every member of Menace will find something complete onto Crimson Eclipse. 85% now captured for Menace.
Devastation for Crimson. Oh, and he's trying to go ahead and stop him with the portal as well. Oh, the cancel? Wow.
Yeah, was
they
that
can't even touch. They actually blocked the portal. Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that is the kind of plays I would expect from somebody with some Ignite experience there. Doctor Strange portal cancel. You can't walk through. I mean, now we're thinking with portals here, right? Like, I have no, I mean, there's nothing you can do. They don't even have to ban out the Doctor Strange that I've seen teams do before. They will simply just throw down another portal and cancel it out. Wow, great stuff there from Menace on point 1.
Absolutely. I guess that kind of sees a bit of a difference at the moment. You can kind of notice they do have a bit more of aggressive ults prepared. It looks like Abu is gonna have that Doctor Strange ulti right on in. Boots was actually swapping so he can go ahead and ooh. Oh yeah, okay, he swaps over and gives Zant the Strange as well. So I wonder if there was just a death swap and just TP'd over. But man, that was unfortunate. But we do know that they both have the same timer, so that is the one convenience that both teams do have at the moment.
2,
Yeah, absolutely. I like the versatility. I like that they're not going to just stick with something. They're trying to find something that works for them. But not bad shouts for Crimson Eclipse there on point number 1. 85% captured. I mean, not a bad start for them at all, especially considering they're punching up in this matchup a little bit here. But yeah, that will put them behind in the ult economy game just a little bit here as we start to fight for point number 2. Menace threatening to capture this map and get things going.
Abu and Hex dropping in both ults. Hex is able to go ahead and get one. Daredevil 2, then completely wipe off Crimzo. It seems like Eclipse is going to have to regroup here on this corner and find a different angle. I'm not certain that this was the proper call. I want to say that they need to swap off the Moon Knight. They no longer have that group Moon Knight typical combo. They do have the Strange and Magneto, but unfortunately they do have the buff that can work quite well along with Gambit. It's just not working. They have nothing to go in and lock down Menace's team.
Yeah, I feel like it's not as synergized there. Beast of the Abyss and another Daredevil ult coming out from Menace here, trying to get the ball rolling. They will find one there now, 2. The Crimson Eclipse fighting to even the odds here, but it is going to be Menace a leg up here as Shalevro there on the side of Crimson Eclipse throws down a final judgment to put some damage down and get the team out of trouble here. So they do manage to mitigate some damage here, but Menace just buying some time here, 40% climb and climbing.
They're able to hold perfectly and then even have invisible ulti on Baby Bat doing perfectly with the shield, keeping all the aggression forward for Menace so they can go ahead and gatekeep Crimzo's team. It's quite difficult for them to go ahead and make it change forward. I want to say that the Punisher was an ideal pick for them to go ahead and use, but I just wish they had it a little bit early on.
The moon!
Yeah, sometimes it really comes down to timing. Now Crimson Eclipse trying to get out of the spawn room here while Menace pushed up as far as they can be. And Xantho on the side of Crimson Eclipse will find a double, another one on that Doctor Strange there. So Crimson Eclipse breaks out of that spawn hold for now.
Zant looking for an aggressive ulti over the Eye of Agamotto. Phoenix also looking in the background, looking for the one shot on the back line. Unfortunately, it gets popped, so they can't go ahead and do so.
Clearly, you needed some help.
Oh, push back on the Strange. He misses on the Eye and only hits the Venom, unfortunately, from Crimzo's team. But it seems like they still holding off perfectly. Menace is holding them off the point. It's at 95-96. Can they lock it down? Can they touch? And it doesn't seem so.
One opportunity, and it's a long walk to that point. Menace closing out Celestial Husk, 2 points to none for Crimson Eclipse. But, you know, this is a map where you kind of have to look beyond just the total map score. I mean, Crimson Eclipse, I think they put up a pretty good fight here. Point number 1, they were in contention that whole time. Point number 2, they had some bright spots, but just not quite enough to overcome Menace quite yet.
I'm curious, what do we think we're going to have to go ahead and change for Crimzo's team? It's changing on up. I'm kind of looking over on both sides, and I'll be honest, I think it's a bit difficult for Shao to be holding off on the Bucky. It seems like this game is really difficult for him to go and lock down Daredevil, to even lock down Phoenix. Anytime he's going to throw on Hook, most of them have a dash. We have Invisible Woman and Wall as well, and Gambit's even dashing. They have no way to kind of lock down a specific kill and actually kind of get those resets. As I told you before, they also have the cleanse too that kind of gets rid of his ult. So I really do want to see a change up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough matchup into this Menace team. I mean, they've picked up all the medals here. You know, the back line of Menace absolutely putting in some work there. Maz and Baby Bat just keeping the team alive through everything. I think you said at one point, you know, perfect shielding from Baby Bat. I mean, absolutely insane stuff from that strategist line there. Of course, you know, Abu and Monoclonal there on the front lines taking all the damage and most of the elims too for that Doctor Strange from Abu. So, I mean, yeah, really quite an uphill battle for Crimson Eclipse to try and break through. But, you know, again, they did have some bright spots in there. That point number 1 was kind of a, you know, a brow wipe for Menace there, definitely pushing them to the edge. But, you know, there is always an opportunity. I mean, it is a best of 3 series, so, you know, gotta see how it goes all the way through there. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think some changes in the ban phase definitely would help here for sure.
Oh, it seems like we're going to go ahead and get into Convoy right here in a moment. And hopefully that does change, being a different game style for them. Playing on cart is definitely different. You're being able to kind of not hold enough on defense, but you're able to kind of push off in different angles, be a bit more aggressive, which is what they were kind of going for, I feel like, initially. So we'll kind of see what happens on this angle. I do believe it is Crimzo playing on defense first.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, the change of scenery and the change of game mode definitely can help shake things up for a team that feels like they're stagnating a little bit. You know, first point, Crimson Eclipse came out really strong. Second point, they were trying, you know, they had a couple of small wins in those team fights, but just not enough to build that momentum. So yeah, I think maybe changing something up here, especially in the draft phase, and already they're making some changes here. Groot ban coming out first from Crimson Eclipse, and Menace gonna stick with it. They're gonna ban that Psylocke as well. So yeah, you know, it is kind of a back to the drawing board kind of situation for this team, especially considering who Crimson Eclipse is facing. I mean, there are a lot of challenges here for them to overcome. They're going to take Emma as well. So going to have, it looks like Voodoo already floating the Emma, so probably going to pick that one back up for sure.
Right, and they actually didn't save Gambit. So I'm curious if either team's going to go ahead and do that, or if they're just waiting to see if any team's going to go ahead and ban it. I think that's actually a smart idea, kind of see if they will do so. But they decide to go ahead and just defend Daredevil, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is a little bit of a game of chicken, right? You want to try to let your opponents ban things that you want banned, but also still get your way in draft. So yeah, there is kind of that risk and reward. And there it is. Menace is gonna ban the Doctor Strange. I feel like I started seeing this a lot last season, but now people do not like the portal recontests. And you know, on Convoy especially, I feel like it makes sense to me. So it has definitely hurt teams in the past, and I imagine Menace is probably thinking it's gonna hurt Crimson Eclipse here too.
Right. And I'm actually curious why they did that, because I thought Abu had a really good Doctor Strange, so I guess they just value the portal that much, being on the cart. They actually go ahead and ban Venom as well, so they really don't like stall either, or dive. We still have the atypical Cap and Emma, but they actually save the Bucky. Okay. Maybe they know something I don't.
Maybe. I mean, you know, you never know. Duelist especially, sometimes you really just have a bad game. And I feel like on Duelist, if you just can't get it going from the very beginning, it is hard to build that momentum. So I think they want to try again. But it is going to be Menace. The game of chicken is over. They're going to save the Gambit. So Gambit back on the table here. But they will ban out Mantis again. So, you know, again, I feel like not a lot of backline being targeted in these ban phases. Very, very interesting for sure.
We're targeting complete front line. It seems like we're going to go ahead and have just a really different type of tank style. I'm imagining even Angela's open at the moment, right? So, yep. I'm imagining both teams should go ahead and hover her at any point. We even have Abu hovering the door. So I'm wondering if Mono has an Angela in the pocket. Oh, okay, it doesn't. Unlucky.
Yeah, and I mean, now, you know, they've got a little bit of wiggle room here. They've taken map 1, so they have an opportunity to maybe try something a little different here, or you know, just, it's not as high stress of a situation for Menace. You know, that mental game comes in so huge in a lot of esports, but in Rivals especially too. So yeah, I mean, there are some changes here. I don't know from both sides. I mean, Menace, I think the draft is okay. I don't know if I love the draft phase here from either team, though. It's very interesting, and you know, again, not as first in the MRC style, but yeah, I'm curious to see if those changes really are going to have an impact, because it seems like Crimson picking up a couple different things. They've got a Magneto, they've got Rocket here, so they're trying some different things here.
Yep, they're trying to go ahead and have a full-on lockdown on the gates here, which is so funny because typically you'll see teams actually force this out so that they can go ahead and get a Strange portal on the first point. But seeing as Strange's already banned, it's not even in the game, they're just hoping to go ahead and lock them out from getting the first point at all.
5, 4,
Yeah, it is a bit of a gamble here, and yeah, I mean the Rocket Network team up will definitely help them with that. There's going to be plenty of random explosions and insta kills onto some heroes here, but Menace is ready for the spawn hold though. They do have Moon Knight and Storm, so they are going to be attempting to break out of this thing as soon as possible.
Yep, and they're able to go ahead and already get to the cart. Seems like they're actually having quite a bit of success with the Gambit on Camille. Well, but it seems like they're already falling off in the backline. Crimso's team down to Gambit as well. And the spawn hold didn't seem to work quite as well as Menace goes ahead and secures the cart quite a bit. Oh!
No, I mean, really trying to set it up there from Crimson Eclipse, but just couldn't quite find the marks there. Rocket BRB Beacon, obviously long gone. They're going to be walking it back. They will be able to recontest here, but, you know, I mean, Menace already, they've got a Moon Knight all ready to go. They're building some resources very quickly here.
They're going to have to go ahead and swap on up, but I think their walk-in is going to be quite difficult, seeing as they only have Emma on the side, and even Penny wants to go ahead and bunker in the corner. Moon Knight's already dropping on his ult and stopping Crypto's team from walking on forward. It seems like Crypto Eclipse is having no success to touch the point, so they're going to have to go ahead and give it up here.
Yeah, I mean, it is assembly line up and down there. Menace clearing checkpoint number 1. Over 5 minutes on the clock for them and still holding on to 2 ults. Crimson Eclipse, they've got several heroes on 90% ult charge here, but I don't know, it's going to be tough here. They do change over to the Luna Snow as well, so still trying to find an answer for this Menace offense.
I'm actually really curious with Abu's Thor. They're being really aggressive. The damage boost from a Storm has got to be quite successful here. As Gambit ulti, diving up to the back, connecting hit both the Luna and the Angela as well. Wow. They're keeping them quite kept now. They're actually getting the Chao's reset on his ulti, but isn't able to go further forward. Storm going ult on her the Hurricane. She's hitting the back line. And it's still not enough.
Yeah, I mean, Menace really going for that low resource usage, high value strategy here. They're trying to hold on to those ultimates as much as they can, though, but Hex will finally finish off that Captain America. So one more of Crimson Eclipse sent back to the spawn here. Just over 4 minutes to go, and right outside the tunnel of death here on Yggdrasil path. Menace looking to try and finish this thing off, but Shalembro somewhere in the back line finds a boo on the Thor.
They're able to go ahead and secure the point with the Khonshu, actually silently looking for, trying to get out, but it unfortunately gets secured by Mono. We have Asteroid M hitting the back line as well, and hitting Shao, unfortunately taking out him as well. Angela able to ult the back line, getting 3. Talking Luna ult and Indus.
Yeah, that's gonna force that Invisible Woman all out from Menace. So Boundary down on the floor here, and the dance floor from Crimson Eclipse here, trying to stay in the fight and stop this Menace roll that they have been on. The Monoclonal looking to keep things going here. One more KO for the Master of Magnetism there, and more members of Menace finding their KOs as well here. Shalembro armed and dangerous again. A very quick recharge there on that Kraken impact, trying to find some damage, but can't make it happen here. Hex double KO there on the Storm, and that's yet another checkpoint cleared for Menace with 4:30 on the clock.
And Abu's looking real sneaky here in the back line, looking for the one shot on this in sports. Unfortunately scoped out, has to go to dash back. Looking back in. Has his ult, he's gonna grab him. And just able to go to secure that back line as well.
Yeah, behind enemy lines and finding one there at least. Shalev is going to finish him off there. Just trading back and forth here. 3 ults for Menace, 2 ults for Crimson Eclipse, but they may not have time to use them here. They are pushed all the way to spawn. Crash on the Daredevil, letting the Devil out right at Crimson Eclipse's front doorstep.
Choke over on Emma, trying to go ahead and secure the bubble with that change. Very easy for them. Ulti from Emma as well, but it doesn't seem like it's going to go ahead and force much except for the Invisible Woman ulti, as long as our defensive ulti on Rocket instantly killed by the Storm. Gambit ulting, dashing into the back line. Menace finally getting stepped forward on the back. Crimson finding some life. Daredevil and Daredevil action.
A couple of signs of life here. They do manage to pull out that team fight win off of the Daredevil ult there. They'll just lose their Gambit. So definitely better looks here in this last checkpoint here, but it may be too little, too late there. Abu aggressive on this Thor, trying to find some KOs in the back rooms, but can't win the 1v1 with the Magneto, and he will be back to spawn as well. One ultimate on the board right now, and that is Shalevro on that Kraken impact yet again. Still looking for a big multi-KO off that.
Nice hook on Shalevro, trying to go ahead and get Hex's Phoenix, but can't do so. Crash being quite low and picked on from Menaces. Crimzo, that's able to walk forward, and then we do have Shal's ult. He's looking for the reset and a hook. Can't find it. Oh. I mean, they're able to go ahead and waste quite a bit of time here as Gambit looks for his ult on Menace's end, and they're forcing the actual action. Still 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah,
no
trying to find the advantage here, but it's going to be Menace pulling out there. Abu on that Thor ultimate as well. Baby Bat's got Invisible Boundary ready to go here. All the KOs falling Menace's way here. Front line halfway offline there for Crimson Eclipse. Their Bucky and the Daredevil will go down. Almost every single member of Crimson walking it back to spawn here. I don't think that's going to be enough for Menace to close out the map, but they will be dangerously close here, just inches away from clearing it.
Oh, they've quite a bit, used up quite some time. Silently tips on point, but doesn't do it fast enough, and they are able to go ahead and lock down 3 points at 1:43.
Plenty of time left on the clock and a cleared map. It is a tall order to live up to. I mean, you were talking about forcing an extra round of convoy here just to try and compete here on the map. So Menace kind of looking at their victory here, looking, you know, fingertips on this second map, while Crimson Eclipse quite a mountain to climb here for sure. But, you know, I've seen crazier things. It's not impossible here. They are changing it up, not quite decided what they want to do yet. But yeah, it is going to take some drawing board work here to figure out how exactly they are going to make this happen.
They're actually hovering triple DPS with the Jeff. I'm wondering if they're looking to... All right. Yep, trying to do the Jeff NATO. Trying to break any hold that's potentially coming on from Menace's side, or even trying to bring in that X factor, as Jeff NATO does do quite a bit of damage and can often actually kill people over top of defensive ults. So we'll kind of see if they can do so and are taking advantage of the fact that Gambit's healing is kind of selective over time. It has only 2 real bursts of it, unless you kind of use the dash as well.
Yeah, I mean, the backline situation is interesting because Crimson Eclipse is out healing Menace by a fair bit. I mean, it's like 32 to 24k, but Menace is just putting out so much damage that the backline just can't keep up with it here. So doors open. Crimson Eclipse's last chance to get the ball rolling here, and they're going to get aggressive with it, taking the fight straight to Menace out the gate. They're already on the payload and getting it moving here just under 15 seconds. So not a bad start here, and they do force out the rocket DRB from Crimson, but they are on that spawn, of course, so not too far along.
And finally is actually going to be able to get 1-for-1 by getting Crash back and forth. They actually trade one, but they're available. But it seems like they're actually able to go ahead and secure this corner quite well. Actually getting a hook over onto Abu too. It's nice. This is actually going to be quite an advantage forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good opener for Crimson Eclipse. Halfway to checkpoint number 1, 45 seconds down. Abu is going to be walking it back from spawn, so opportunity here to break through that front line and start running over the squishies there in the rest of the map. But yeah, they're on a move here for sure. I mean, they've got a little bit of an ult economy advantage. That is unfortunate, though. Monoclonal going back through the spawn room, so 1 Magneto for Menace down, and the Phoenix hunted down as well. That's just going to leave an invisible boundary on the board, but I don't think that's stopping Crimson Eclipse here. They are on the move.
Oh man, and Child's able to go ahead and show why he wanted to go ahead and secure this defense on Bucky. Able to get every single reset he can. Missing off Hex barely, but staring over the corner. They're able to secure the first point quite well and have 5 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, aggressive with it. You know, Shalev moved up on them, you know, ran that Kraken impact just to try and keep them from getting back to the point. And now Crimson Eclipse clears checkpoint number 1. They've got about 5 minutes to go, so not a bad position for them to be in. They should have about 4 ultimates, but Menace is going to have, I believe, 5 by the time this next team fight really pops off here. So, I mean, going to play it under a little bit of a resource route for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And they were actually able to go ahead and get a pick onto Mono as Menace is looking to actually back up quite a bit. Crimson's actually looking quite aggressive and able to go ahead and get the Gambit all back and forth. Doesn't seem like they're getting anything off of Thunder.
The god of thunder!
Gets one stun over onto Daredevil as well. Oh, Mazu falls. Or gets 2. Like everyone in Crimson does.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Menace has been looking for since the start of this run. You know, Crimson Eclipse, they've cleared over half the map. 4 minutes still left to go. Plenty of time for them, but the win that Menace has been looking for since they started here on defense. So maybe not as great at holding the payload. I mean, definitely a very convincing team fight win for them. But now Crimson Eclipse is going to come back with 4 ultimates ready to go. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential here for a big retake from Crimson.
I'm honestly quite curious as to what. Oh, as I say so, it seems like they're actually able to go ahead and fall. Shao falls too. Zant is actually looking for his ulti, trying to defend over him. Silence dead from Crimson side. Oh my god. They are just having real trouble walking over to the point as Crimson's looking for every ult, trying to touch the cart, but Menace is able to touch them quite forward, keep them at the gates. Kraken impact looking good, but can't quite land it on anyone that looks juicy.
Yeah, I mean, both teams really trying to play their cards close to their chest, holding as many ults as they can. Both teams have 4 ready to go here and just trading left clicks back and forth there. But Voodoo finally goes down. Monoclonal finishes them off with some left clicks there. Meteor M overhead from Zant now trying to find a target. Can't quite make it, and Maz will pick up 1 KO on the Gambit here. So Menace yet again slowly regaining control of this matchup here. Now they've got the ult economy advantage. They are pushing Crimson Eclipse back to spawn. I mean, there is a lot of advantage here on the side of Menace.
They don't actually have any portal tech that they can go ahead and utilize too because of the bans as well. They're looking for an opening over here on Bluetooth using over on Emma's ulti, but they're able to go ahead and defensively ulti on Menace's side. Popping over back to M and hitting Zhao into the face. Unfortunately, unable to go ahead and walk over still with his team and reconnect.
Yeah, I mean, dunked right onto him there. Exactly what they've been looking for, but just not enough to turn the tide here. It's going to be Crimson Eclipse edging out Menace here just a little bit in this fight as Kamalek picks up 1 on that Gambit as well here. So they have lost some ground here, not nearly as far up as that payload has been pushed, but now they are finally regaining some of that ground. Crimson Eclipse in the lead in ult economy for now, but Menace, you know, they're going to have to regroup and come back in on this thing. Still a minute 30 left to go, so Crimson Eclipse, plenty of time for them to get this second checkpoint. They've been digging hard for it.
Unfortunately, Doris couldn't find it on connecting on anyone, but we get every ulti over reset from Shao, hitting everyone with the Kraken impact. It seems like he's trying to get 1 more reset, but they're going to go ahead and gatekeep Menace and be able to get to points quite easily. They're going to have a little under 3 minutes left on the clock, and it seems like everyone's going to be able to go ahead and respawn to their other room and reset.
Yeah, I mean, Crimson Eclipse, lots of grit from this team here, sticking with it. You know, Menace has put up quite a defensive wall for them there at the end of checkpoint 2. This last checkpoint usually ends up being pretty defense-coded, so this could be pretty tough for Crimson to clear with just about 2:20 left on the clock, but they have every opportunity to do it here. They've at least got a Meteor M, if not a Raging Royal Flush ready to go from Gambit as well.
Oh, absolutely, with a Raging Royal Flush and the ulti on Daredevil tries going forward. They're able to go ahead and combo on both sides they're looking for, but unfortunately, it seems like Crimson's team was caught a little bit underhanded as they have 3 dead instantly. Menace is trying to go ahead and straight on back and forth, but they also lose 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big trade here, like 3 for 3 on both sides here. Menace going to take control of the ult economy just a little bit here, but a Kraken impact not too far away for Crimson Eclipse there. We're going to see some ultimates from both sides now. Menace is not holding back now. 2 ults coming down. A invisible boundary and a meteor M overhead as well here, and that will be the combo they need to find the KOs. DPS ults still being held on to here, not even putting down the damage. Monoclonal will pick up a 2K here and do most of the work that the duelists don't have to do in this fight here now. And just gonna fire straight into the spawn door to try and hold him back too.
Silence looking for an opening onto the back line, but is having a difficulty as they get going to Mark. And he gets Royal Flush as he looks for his ult soon as well. Seeing if they're going to get a pick, but it seems like they're able to go ahead and get the invis on reset. Back into the back line, another. Almost gets a third. Able to go ahead and keep Phoenix over into the corner of the base.
Yeah, I mean, the zone is exactly what they were looking for here. The Crimson Eclipse, I mean, they are threatening here. It's 40 seconds left to go, so not a lot of time to dawdle here, but they are getting closer. Cratch will find one on the Daredevil, though. 1v1 the Daredevil, and Menaces will take control of this. Voodoo going to even the odds, though. 1 KO there. Crouch going to let the Devil out here to try and finish the job. Under 30 seconds left to go. Karambo, though, from Crimson Eclipse. Invisible boundary down, and that is going to throw a wrench in it for a Menace here. I don't know. This is coming down to the wire here.
They really got to go ahead and touch as they have 10 seconds left. Ash is able to go ahead and do so. And for Menace, they're unfolding. Oh, wait, did he start emoting over there on Gambit? I'm not sure what happened there.
Wow, huge stuff from Monoclonal on the Magneto. Master of Magnetism title well earned there for him and for the rest of Menace. They'll take it 2 maps to 0 after quite a nail biter of an Yggdrasil path there.
I would like to say that it was one of our top teams with, a bit of a struggle, it seems like, for Crimson Eclipse, but they did have quite a fight throughout both of their games. They were able to hold quite well on the first map for domination, and then even on Convoy here, they were showing some life. It just didn't seem to click for long enough for them to go ahead and secure the victory versus Menace.
Yeah, I mean, definitely plenty of signs of life, especially for a team that's punching up 2 Menace here. I mean, insane stuff. Cannot understate how good of a fight they put up against a team that on paper you would say there's no way they can win this. So very great stuff there, but man, look at the stat lines from Menace. Hex on that Phoenix, 45 elims and 14 finals. It is going to be Monoclonal on that Magneto that grabs the MVP with 18 finals and a quad, and that came at the very end of the match. But yeah, I mean, Menace in this matchup really is like a case of firing on all cylinders, right? Every job doing exactly what they need to do. Baby Bat and Maz have 40 plus assists between the two of them with an insane amount of heals there. And, not to overlook the backline on Crimson Eclipse either. They had some big numbers as well, but yeah, just not quite enough to take the day. So Menace will rack up another win here, 2 maps to nothing. So pretty short day at the office for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the Phoenix actually the entire time on Hex, dying only 3 times, popping off here with 30k damage. Everyone thought that Phoenix was dead after Beyblade Tech was gone. I mean, guys, she's still fine. Trust me, she can still do the one-shot. Look. It's really nice to kind of see this coming into fruition. Honestly, I wanted to see a bit more changes over from Crimson's side, but I'm hoping that the next time we can kind of see a bit more development. They had a bit of changes with the Punisher. They had the Moon Knight. They ended up having the Bucky quite a bit. I know they ended up defending the Bucky. While it did work a bit on Convoy, I feel like they were kind of forced it, and if they were going to do so anyway, they should have leaned a little bit more into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was worried that the Bucky save there at first was not going to work out in their favor. It didn't do them a ton of work there on map number 1, but it ended up working out in their favor. So maybe not the worst decision. And, I feel like it's hard for me to pinpoint a part of their strategy that was necessarily wrong. The draft was a little better on map 2 for Crimson. I feel like they did a lot of things right. It just was the execution and the team play from Menace that kind of gave them the win at the end of the day.
Yep, absolutely. We're trying to go ahead and slowly get prepped for our next game here. We're going to go ahead and have, I believe, is arrows, correct? And
Yeah, I think it's them and Crystal Grove are going to be match number 2.
Arrow. Oh. I think this is Leeds, no? Yeah, this is Leeds. I think. Or is it? Yes. Okay.
Let's see real quick here. Yeah, so I believe that Arrows is like the top team in the league, maybe one of the best here. So again, this is another case of kind of punching up, you know, a long path to climb here, but they have been pretty dominant there. You can see their lineup on the screen, but yeah, some pretty standard meta picks here too. We definitely saw some Thor from a Boo in that last matchup there on map number 2, but yeah, you know, even in spite of the Phoenix, like you said, the Beyblade stuff gone now, but she still gets played. But you know, I thought that Phoenix would totally replace Hela, but there is a lot of Hela that still gets played in these comp matches. So then of course, you know, the Daredevil to pair for that DPS line, and then pretty standard stuff in the back line for strategists. So yeah, a lot of pretty common meta stuff here from Arrows.
It doesn't really change much from the different teams that we've actually kind of seen already. As you said, it's interesting to note that we do have the Hela. It's probably open now because of Namor. I would like to say the anti-heal team up is just so strong, especially in comp and even in solo queue, as you kind of have experienced. The Thor pick is something that's really interested me. I've always thought that this character has been very strong, and it has been like one patch away from being super broken, but here we are. As we can kind of see Crystal Grove's comp actually hovering a Loki and Mantis. Oh, nice. Okay, so we have a bit of a difference going on forward, and they do have a Black Panther, which you don't see quite a bit at all in season 5.
Yeah, no, definitely have not seen T'Challa come out. I don't know if I've seen him at all yet this season. But yeah, you know, Mantis, Loki, pretty common stuff here. Of course, Doctor Strange and Magneto, really standard stuff in the front line too. Crystal Grove coming into this one, I believe they're 1-4 overall, coming into this matchup here versus Iros, who I believe is 5-0. So, you know, quite a powerhouse team for them to fight. But we did see, you know, Crimson Eclipse, they did put up a fight against Menace. So I'm kind of expecting the same here as we head into match number 2. But this is going to be some domination here on Krakoa for map 1 and a whole new slate here. So yeah, I'm curious to see where we head off in the ban phase. First up though, it is going to be Venom again. So these teams here really prefer to ban out Venom from what I've been seeing.
It seems like both teams actually just want to go ahead and get their Vanguards out of the way, even banning Emma. Not one of the newer ones have gotten any real changes, like Groot, you know, Angela even getting her nice buff this patch, but we don't really see much other changes. I'm curious about the Venom, honestly. With the typical dive, they must be quite used to this team. They actually go ahead and defend the Strange, which I think is typical, especially if they think they're going to go ahead and be running Gambit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of Vanguard movement happening in this draft phase so far. I mean, it's all tanks up to now, but yeah, it seems like the pretty common, you know, 4 strat ban is gone by the wayside a little bit, but we will get to see some Gambit yet again here. So big change up from some other matches I've watched lately where there is no way in heck that Gambit makes it through draft here. So that is one strategist on the board, but Crystal Grove, they will ban out the Daredevil here. So, you know, after seeing some of what I saw last match, I'm not too shocked.
And the Psylocke ban actually respecting on both sides, looking at both lords on either end for Psylocke. It's actually funny that they are willing to sacrifice it on either end. But honestly, it's so funny with the Gambit picks. It seems like both teams are willing to go ahead and just say, I have the better Gambit. With the Groot actual pick as well, we know both tanks that are going to be on Arrows' side, assuming that they stick to their saves, which is going to be their atypical lineup in the backline. They're going to assumingly have the Gambit as well. Ooh. Loki's still up too. I project some insane plays.
No, 100%. I mean, yeah, it does seem like they're gonna want to anchor around their Vanguards. Oh, you read the future. I mean, the Loki save here. Yep. So we are gonna get some mischief going on in this matchup here. One ban left for both sides of the board, but yeah, I do think that Arrows definitely respects the Vanguard players on their own team for sure, securing their picks here as it seems like Crystal Grove just going for some more standard stuff here. They ban out the Hella as well, so nothing too crazy. I see a lot of teams do this in a multi-map series. They will just go after some decently good meta bans to start things off, see what their opponents do, and kind of adjust as they go here. Mantis, last ban from Arrows there, so that wraps up the draft phase. Not bad, I would say, from either team. They did get some jabs in there, but I feel like they saved some decent things for themselves. So yeah, not bad to start things off.
Absolutely, and they're actually going to head and hover the Storm pick for Ravenloft and Flourish Haze. Actually, I like this a lot. So the difference between this Bucky pick and the last one was the fact of the damage boost that he was going to consistently be getting from Storm, so he can actively get those resets way faster and stop the fact that Gambit exists and kind of cleanses ult as often. I think this is actually going to go ahead and be quite a combination.
Yeah, definitely. Leagues or Crystal Grove, they're gonna go 1 DPS. They're gonna go for that triple strat. So triple strat just has been a thing for so long now. No surprise here, but they've got some interesting flavor to this. They're gonna run Gambit, Adam Warlock, and Rocket Raccoon. So they're gonna have quite a bit of sustain here between Rocket DRB beacons and Karmic Revivals from Adam. I mean, it is gonna be tough to keep this team down for sure. Arrows, they're going a little bit damage flavored. I think that Winter Soldier, not a bad play into an Adam Warlock. Plenty of chains for your crack and impact there if you get the whole team rezzed on that Karmic Revival. So yeah, they're gonna go straight in for the Doctor Strange portal. At least gonna scout him out here, but that portal is gonna open, and we're just gonna go straight into it here before the points even up.
The CC looking in and trying to get those free hits onto the Groot as they try to flip the map, but it seems like they've already lost one on Crystal Grove as Magneto has fallen. Groot's looking over to go in and stop the Star-Lord from peeking as well. 2 fall now as Gambit falls as well.
Lots of value here for Arrows off of what is Crystal Grove's Doctor Strange portal. I mean, almost the whole team sent back to spawn there. I think, unless I missed it, the Magneto might be the only one standing, or no, he's back in spawn too. So their own Doctor Strange portal, unfortunately, flipped on its head. Arrows will take the point as well to start things off.
That's a key utility actually down for them now at this moment. Oh, as Arrows actually loses one, Ravenloft peaked just quite a little bit too much, giving Crystal Grove access to the point. They're trying to go ahead and make a pick onto a Nesman.
I see that.
Yeah, they're really trying to capitalize on it here. They force out that invisible boundary from the invis here. Crystal Grove trying to build up some ultimates here. Nesman does get the Groot ult as well. Omega Hurricane coming down from Bluish Haze into the back line, right into that Adam Warlock there. A Song Inferno goes up, and it'll be Magneto that finds the Storm on the side of Arrows here, but that is a rapidly moving progress meter. There's 60% as both teams scrapping on top of the point here.
Adam is trying to go ahead and get the res for his team. They've already used all of them. Unfortunately, Adam has also fallen again. They're trying to give Ravenloft his resets. He's trying to get it on Gambit, but gets just a smidge too late.
Finishes him off with the uppercut at the very least. Does manage to get a couple of kills here. Absolute chaos on this first point between these two teams. Invisible boundary coming down again. Already recharged there. Ravenloft taken down. Winter Soldier back to the spawn, but it's a 1-for-2. Favoring Arrows there. Crystal Grove trying to even the odds here, but it is going to be Arrows still on top here as they still maintain control of the point here. 99%, and that'll pop overtime. But do Crystal Grove even have the bodies to maintain it?
Now you do the same for me, Lee.
Unfortunately, it seems like Crystal Grove wasn't able to go and secure. Arrows had a magnificent hold on that the entire time, only really trying to go ahead and get contested at the very end there. That's the problem with trying to go ahead with those aggressive portals at the start. If it doesn't work out for you, not only is it bad positionally, not only is it bad for you momentumly, but it's also bad for you at the end of the day mentally. So I do think that Crystal Grove's got to reset here and look for a different format. I think the map will definitely help them out.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like a leap of faith when you go for that
30
very
seconds before
aggressive
you
strange
attack.
portal. You
Get
just
ready.
kind of let go of the cliff and hope that you find something to grab onto, and they just could not find it here. So their numbers, their Phoenix is really trying to put in some work here. 4 elims, 2 final hits, but just not enough damage coming from the side of Crystal Grove yet to get those KOs that they need. So Arrows is just able to take the point and hold it to the very end here. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of teams, if they want to run triple strat, I've seen that 1-2-3, 1 Vanguard, 2 DPS, 3 healers, and I feel like that might benefit Crystal Grove, but maybe they're not comfortable running a comp like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't seem like that's going to go ahead and be the answer for them. They're actually still continuing with the Atom and actually adding over the Loki as well. It's trying to see a double res will actually work, but Loki gets immediately picked past or cursed, unfortunately. Oof.
The Cosmos heals you.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's
Some assistance, please.
It's not your fault. It happens all the time. I mean, it is a nasty setup from Crystal Grove. They're really going to try to get that sustain there from that. Yeah, like you said, the God of Mischief onto the Karmic Revival. They're going to go ahead and pop it though, so they're going to full send in this fight here. Adam Warlock all is up and ready to go here. Arrows finding the KOs though, going to quickly burn through those extra lives on the side of Crystal Grove here, and Arrows still standing strong. They will take the point. A lot of ultimates, a lot of resources used by Crystal Grove here, but it is all Arrows here, and it is all Ravenloft. Triple KO on the Winter Soldier there, and that will be the end of Crystal Grove in this fight. Arrows take the point and take almost every single member of Crystal Grove down with it.
Yeah, it does seem like they're going to go ahead and need something different here, but Ravenloft looking for a pick, almost gets picked himself. As they swap on over to Blue Haze, who has that ult over on the Omega Hurricane, looking for a genuine opportunity to go and use it onto the back line. They've already picked one actual support. She's going in right now. But they're able to go ahead and negate most of it with the tail end of the Adam Warlock. It seems like they're going to lock them down, and their gate kept. Arrows once again able to go and hold for 50%.
Yeah, I mean, these teams are aggressive with it. As soon as they've got the opportunity, they start pushing towards the spawn room, like clockwork. So now Arrows still in control of this thing. Crystal Grove got a long way to go here, and Arrows already has taken the first point here, so they're gonna have to find an answer and find it quick, or map number 1 is gonna go straight to Arrows here. They do have an ult economy advantage, not for long. That Gambit ult gonna charge up, so they're gonna break even here. Root ult before too long here, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough here for Crystal Grove to turn this thing around.
They're able to actually go ahead and dodge the Meteor M. Arrows actually has another one fall on Ravenloft. Some life going on Crystal Grove as they're looking on inwards. She's looking for her ulti. Gonna dive into the back line. Unfortunately gets ulti by the Groot. They're able to go ahead and lock in. It's 95%. And yes, Crimson Grove is able to go ahead and give it 1% too and lock down the points.
Yeah, very, very close there at the last. Arrows 96% captured here, and Crystal Grove able to make the flip here. And it took a lot of resources from Arrows. So I see teams do this a lot. They overextend a little bit on the recontest and have trouble finding something to get back into the fight and try to make the flip back in their favor here. So they run a couple things. Meteor M and an Omega Hurricane going to be ready to go. But Crystal Grove, they've already got that Adam Warlock ult back up. So it is going to be tough. Once they grab control of the point, it is going to be hard to get Crystal Grove off of it here, and that's almost exactly what we're seeing right off the rip.
Yep, it seems like they're not going to go ahead and be able to actually have a decent walk-in as Arrows actually loses 2. They're able to hold quite a bit on Crystal Grove, almost hitting 50%. They're going to need at least 2 more fights here, so they're looking to get just a bit of a pick, but it seems like Adam was unfortunately able to get picked himself. As Ravenloft gets and trades 1.
Yeah, no Karmic Revival on the table for this fight here. Arrows is going to need to try and capitalize on those couple of picks, and that they will. Bluish Haze on the Storm, at least a 2K there to try and retake this thing, and retake they will attempt to do here, trying to finish off the Loki, and they'll find it. The Invis on the side of Arrows will do so, making the flip, and I do not believe there's a Strange Portal coming in time. No, that is map number 1 for Arrows here.
Ooh. This is going to be a tough one. It seems like Arrows is going to have quite a bit of a field day at the moment with the fact that they're able to go ahead and freely use Gambit. I think we just need to go ahead and ban it for the next round, if at all possible. It seems like they need to either do that or work out something else when it comes to Convoy. We know that we saw the last team as well have a bit of a different take on the game and a bit more life when they actually made it over to Convoy, so it could be quite a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, some teams really just struggle with the stationary objective. You know, this game, a lot of this game is resource management, and from game mode to game mode, the resource management and the strategies behind it are so different. So you see some teams that struggle on something like domination, whereas other people might find it easier or think that it's a little more simple or a little more straightforward for them. So, you know, every team has their strength here. I mean, there were a couple of signs of life there. You know, once Crystal Grove got the point, it did take Arrows a while to take it back. Again, that's thanks to, you know, this backline combination they have going with Loki and the Adam Warlock. But man, I mean, Arrows was very, very dominant there on domination, so living up to the namesake of the game mode. So once again, one team on the back foot here, trying to punch up to a team a few seeds above them here, but you know, not out of the woods quite yet is Arrows here, as we will get ready for map number 2. But you know, again, this is a case of gotta go back to the drawing board, right? Like you already said, you know, gotta ban the Gambit first thing. I feel like they're not getting enough value out of it to justify continuing to play it, but Arrows is getting so much out of it that it would be worth it to take out Gambit for Crystal Grove.
Absolutely. And it seems like we're going to go ahead and have quite a series in front of us. I honestly think that we're going to have a bit of a surprise on this next one. I have full faith that they're going to go ahead and try to bring it a bit forward here for us. Now, it seems like the map that we're going to go ahead and get is Central Park. Ooh, one of my favorites.
Yeah. So got a little bit of that, you know, stationary objective type stuff. Got some movement there once you unlock that payload. First convergence map I think we have seen so far. I think it was Idris Path last time. So yeah, interested to see what the change up is here for Crystal.
Absolutely, as they go ahead and hover quite a bit of the same picks as last time. This is a huge Jeff map, so I would be anxious to go ahead and see him here a little bit. Especially when we had a storm hover, so there's a very big Jeff NATO opportunity on this map, I would say. They go ahead and ban Groot very easily, as I'm sure we all know. With the changes over to his walls, makes him super obnoxious to go ahead and hold that point on defense. Even on offense, it's really hard to go ahead and just be super aggressive towards him. The Emma ban immediately following that as well. But we left over the Venom from last week.
Yeah, still going after the Vanguards in the draft phase. Tanks have to feel a little targeted here, I think, at the very least. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Groot ban, not necessarily the worst thing to start off with here. Invis save coming in from Arrows there. So yeah, those invisible boundaries definitely going to help them try to finish this thing off, especially as they hold up here. They're going to be on defense first, so going to need to prepare to fight in that little arena for that to unlock Ratatoskr for sure. But yeah, you know, a lot of this is going to come down to what exactly Crystal does here on this draft screen. They're going to save Magneto here as well. So again, you know, lots of Vanguard focus in these Season 5 drafts so far.
Absolutely. And speaking of Vanguards, I'm actually curious if we're going to go ahead and get a Penny at all. Especially as some of us actually see quite a bit of dive in the moment. No one's really banning Rocket, and especially with the changes to Penny's webs, it actually gives a little bit of a buff, you know, to the back line. I know they were playing a bit of a triple heal on the last game, but I'm curious if they're trying to go ahead and play triple tank, which is quite a bit more meta at the moment. We're going to go ahead and quite see if Gambit's still left up at all either. Ban on
I would be surprised. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that Crystal is getting what they need out of him, and I feel like it justifies the ban, but Arrows has every opportunity to save it for themselves right here.
Okay. I like this. So they go ahead and pick the Hela. This actually forces Crystal to actually ban Namor. If they don't, they're going to go ahead and eat that. We're quite confident.
I was about to say, it feels like they're kind of boxed in here, because you either ban the Namor to stop Hela Namor, or you ban oh no, they're gonna save the Gambit, so they're gonna go for the Gambit Magneto team up here. But I really don't think they can get away with not banning Namor, right? They have to here. I mean,
oh, they banned Bucky instead. Okay, so I'm curious if we're gonna go ahead and see if this happens at all. But right now the team up in general stops quite a bit of healing that's happening in the game with the anti-heal alone, right? We have quite a bit of obnoxiousness with the fact that the squids don't die, actually, the ethereal ones, and they can spawn off of each other, which is crazy. They can spawn in the air. Like, all right.
And it's going to be a Mantis ban to round it out. So, I mean, there's a disgusting team floating out here somewhere. You can go Hella Namor, Mantis Magneto, or Gambit Mantis Magneto all together. What?
Yep. And both sides look at each other and say, all right, we see what's happening, what's open, and we're going to match the Hella Namor. We're going to see whose is better. Oh.
Man.
Now, with these Vanguards open as well, I'm curious, again, if we're going to go ahead and see any changes. They did lock the Gambit and the Invisiwoman, which I think worked quite well for them on arrows anyway. I'm wondering if they're going to still go a triple strat, or they're not going triple strat. They're just going to stick to the dual strat on the Crystal Grove, rather. But they do end up having the rocket, so it is fun to note that they could have ran the Benny.
30 seconds before you attack.
Yeah, very true, very true. I mean, they're both trying to take advantage of the wealth of team ups that are left on the table here. Both of them running Hella Namor. Both of them, or excuse me, just Arrows is gonna run Gambit Magneto at least for now. Yeah, man, that's a nasty draft phase for both of these teams. I thought that they saw each other and they were kind of playing this weird tic-tac-toe, but no, they both decided to allow all of this into the match.
Going with the cheese to see if anyone will fall off right away. And nope, not quite caught off. They lose the portal right at the start, but I think Arrows is willing to go ahead and do that since they had up one map.
Yeah, definitely got the breathing room to do it, and the risk is worth it, but yeah, nobody's walking off the cliff, at least to start things off here. So Crystal Grove on attack here first, and they are getting aggressive with it, already rounded the first corner here. Arrows on defense here, so they are ready to hole up here, but yeah, you're right, they are going to be down a Strange portal here, and almost down to Dr. Strange, but no, they're going to send an Invis back to spawn already. So Crystal Grove here finds first blood, finds 2 KOs, and no Rocket Beacon to get them back on the board here. So one by one, Arrows goes down. No healers on site, and now Crystal Grove is gonna start making some progress here. They might be able to get a couple ticks out of this, but I think there's a Doctor Strange portal coming their way.
Oh, they can't. They can't. Arrows use its cheese at the start.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. Now there's nothing they can do now. So that's a checkpoint number 1. 5:30 on the clock for Crystal Grove here. Woo.
Well, so that's the punishment that you kind of get at the start here. I think that they've understood that happened, and they kind of have to really reconcile that they need to reset. But it looks like if they can go ahead and get staggered enough, that it might be too much from Crystal Grove as they're looking over to the top side and getting the high ground over on Arrows. And then they're trying to go ahead and get all her healing over onto the tanks in the foreground. Nesman just a bit over the top. That changes. The Gambit looking to go ahead and ulti as he goes ahead and one full discards. Oh,
yeah, it's gonna be a tough fight here for Arrows. They are in a pretty big ult economy deficit here. Hella already down as well, and Crystal Grove still holding on to 3 ults here. That's gonna be an invisible boundary there coming out from Red Luna on the side of Arrows, but Indian's going back to spawn here. Now Namor with that Horn of Proteus trying to get the ball rolling here, but it is all Crystal Grove so far on this offensive run here. Another team fight win for them, and they are still holding on to a Hella and a Namor ult.
Well, they have both of their DPS ult. They even have the Eye of Agamotto to kind of follow them up or even set them up. It's going to be quite difficult for them. They still have 4 minutes on the clock as they walk up this ramp over to point 2. Arrows looking for an engagement. It's no one.
Yeah, I mean, big airmail attempt from Arrows here. They are trying to get the ball rolling here, but this is the first time we've seen them truly on the back foot here, thanks to Crystal Grove, but finally finding their footing here. Ravenloft yet again, they're overhead on that Goddess of Death, finding some picks, and now Arrows, for the first time, gets control of the payload.
Now, we do have one big ult on Arrow's side, but honestly, I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to go ahead and walk on forward. They used both DPS ultis there and weren't able to go ahead and secure the second point. So now it's really all about the Namor flank. Go and see if he can get a pick over on for Crystal Grove. They got to walk on forward onto Arrows as they almost pick Ravenloft. Desmond also looking low. Mints looking to ulti. They lose one over on Crystal Grove. They're able to go ahead and almost lose two.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slower roll from Arrows. I mean, they find one or two here. Ravenloft finds another one here. They've got two ults, so they're swinging the ult economy in their favor. That invisible boundary gonna come up before too long here. Crystal Grove, they've got an Eye of Agamotto. They've got an invisible boundary themselves here, but they just don't have the follow-up that they need just yet. That Hela, Namor, no ults online, so they just need a little bit more resources here. But yeah, I mean, very dangerously close to a very rapid checkpoint number 2 for Crystal Grove here on offense.
As the Horner Proteus falls down and Gambit does fall. Namor throwing as well. We had Gambit ult tune up. Sneaky unfortunately lost his life. On Gambit unable to go ahead and ulti. It seems like Arrows is down 3 as they're unfortunately able to go ahead and walk back. Crystal Grove is able to go ahead and secure the cart and actually potentially the points.
Yeah, and good response from Zera on the side of Crystal Grove. Meteor M went up, the Gambit ult came, or with the Gambit ult charged up, and he dropped that Meteor on his head there. So a fight for checkpoint number 2 here, kicking off with Crystal Grove only having one ult. It's an Eye of Agamotto, and it looks like a whiff there from Crystal Grove, but they may not even need it there. Wins Faith on that Ela will take down the Gambit on the side of Arrows here. Under 3 meters to go for them to get this next checkpoint, and no bodies left for Arrows. Checkpoint confirmed. Crystal Grove 3 minutes on the clock and 1 checkpoint of Central Park left to go.
Now this is curious. They were able to go ahead and leave the Hela Namor on both sides, and this is what we're gonna go ahead and see. I wonder if it's gonna go ahead and really change up anything. You've noticed that Ravenloft has his ulti. Gonna have a great spot for it over on the top. We actually see that Sneaky swapped over to Angela, and unfortunately gets picked as well. Nesman falls. And they're able to go ahead and secure quite a top as almost Magneto falls off the map, but barely touches with his toes.
Yeah, I mean, almost an even trade here for both teams, but Crystal Grove still on the move. 2:20 left to go, halfway to that third and final checkpoint to clear the map here. Arrows not want to let that happen. They want that door to victory to stay open, but they may not be able to hold it. Ravenloft goes down, holding that Goddess of Death back to spawn, and Angela will follow her to the grave here. Horde of Proteus comes down from Bluish Haze, does find 1 or 2 there. They will get a couple of picks off of that, but so far here, Crystal Grove able to stay aggressive with it. Just under 2 minutes for them to try and finish this map off.
It seems like they're gonna go ahead and have a forward walk. They have a 1 minute and 45 left on the clock. Angela's looking to go ahead and from the corner. They swapped over because of the far left angle for them to go ahead and get those picks on the knockoff. Crystal Grove has every ult to go ahead and work with. They haven't go ahead and used their TPs aggressively at all yet. They still have it on the lock. Arrows does have it back up too, but they will be dying out of Proteus as Ravenloft almost gets picked off on the top corner, and it does right before his ult.
Yeah, that's got to be a signal here to go in, and it looks like Crystal Grove is going to try to groove up here and move in on Arrows there. Gambit ult coming down to try and withhold this storm coming from Crystal Grove there, from air and from the ground. 2 heroes go up for ults. Zare will find one off of the Meteor in there, and still overhead wins Faith there on that Goddess of Death, putting down some damage. Almost falls off the map, but saves it with the Crow at the last second. 4 ults and a couple of KOs here and some progress, so plenty of value earned here by Crystal Grove, but not quite securing the map just yet.
Oof. And as we say that, they're able to go ahead and lock it down and actually show some life over on Crystal Grove, and actually answering Arrows' match last round, giving them the pressure if they can go ahead and push on 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit of an uphill battle for Arrows here. Like I was saying earlier, this is the first time we've really seen them kind of caught off guard a little bit. So yeah, they're gonna have to take it to extra rounds. Otherwise, we are on to a map number 3 here. I didn't catch how long was left on the time bank for Crystal Grove. I have to imagine just a little bit. But yeah, so it's either going to take a pretty rapid push here from Arrows, or we might be looking at a round 3 potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see if there's going to be any changes on this aggression for Arrows, or they're going to go ahead and stick to the Namor Hela. It seems like they might just go ahead and match. Complete mirror.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we are just going blow for blow here between these two teams. They are straight down the line, but I don't know. I do see a couple extra lords on the side of arrows, so you have to wonder, you know, the intimidation factor a little bit. Like, we're trying to imitate what they're doing, but I mean, it was a great run from Crystal Grove there. Lots of signs of life for that team. They are far from done in this matchup.
Oh, absolutely. And it seems like we're gonna have just a best of a best matchup that we can go ahead so far. Arrows actually gets picked right away. Ravenloft unfortunately just lost their life right off the start. Oh, they're able to go and walk forward.
No, definitely not how you want to start it off there. But fortunately, Spawn very close for attackers here to start things off on Central Park. So back up and running, but you know, you can't take too many of those. Bluish Haze getting pretty low too, but it is going to be a KO there for Arrows, so they'll at least return fire here. They find a couple onto Crystal Grove here, and that is quite a long walk back here. So if they can take them out one at a time like this, man, I can see Arrows unlocking this thing pretty quick. They've already got one tick too.
Oh, but they do have TP on their side for Crystal Grove, unlike what happened last game. Let's see. They were able to go ahead and touch. 3 minutes.
Much better.
They're actually able to go ahead and get a pick, presumably on Nesmond. Sneaky almost want to follow. Actually, is raised on up. Ravenloft falls as well. Mint looking for the back line. Desperate to go ahead and hold the point. 80% on ult. Corner Proteus finds none. Team up hits the entire line. Able to go ahead and play the corner as Blue hits Haze.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough here. Crystal Grove's got to have some resources here. They're looking for it. Gambit all from Arrows coming out now. They are trying to stay in the fight here. They cleared 2 ticks with 2:30 still on the clock, and Arrows finding some KOs here. But Crystal Grove returning fire almost immediately. 2 for 3 gonna favor Arrows. Meteor M from Sarah goes up, comes down, does not find its mark from what I can tell here. But Arrows still on the point and making some progress. That is a royal flush from Crystal Grove's side. I have Agamotto from Arrows as well. Finds at least the Gambit on the side of Crystal Grove here. I have Agamotto from Crystal Grove. Returns fire here. Back and forth. Absolute chaos here on point number 1. And Arrows is trying to be the one standing atop the hill at the very end here. And they find the breakthrough to do it. 4 members of Crystal Grove back to spawn at least. Cap goes down as well. No one to stand in their way. And they will unlock the payload. 4:15 on the clock.
Well, they definitely gave them a run for their money on that first point, I gotta say. They were able to go ahead and waste quite a bit of time on it. It's actually almost going to be less than 4, which is quite a difference to the last one. I think they had almost 5 minutes and a half on the last point. But now they're able to go ahead and walk on forward as Mint looks for an angle on the offside. We have Wind's Faith with their ulti looking for a flank as well.
Yeah, I mean, not as swift of a start for Arrows here. Ravenloft's going to go overhead with that Goddess of Death. Maybe going to have to come right back down so low there in mid-air, but will find the KOs. That's a 3K at least for the hell of there. Ravenloft coming in clutch yet again for Arrows. I think that might be 4 to round things off there, but sending Crystal Grove back to the spawn here, and now that is some free real estate for Arrows to go ahead and move this thing up towards checkpoint 2.
Oh, Bluish Haze being real sneaky in the back here, looking with the Horn of Proteus, knows what he can go ahead and do, playing the typical flanking Namor, going all the way around. Oh, unfortunately, he went and followed him, almost gets a pick actually with the team up. In fact, helps with Wind's Faith. They actually trade back with Goddess of Death, but he's able to get him blocked most of it from Nesmond, trades his life for it, actually picks another one in the back.
Yeah, dart after dart, finding their mark there onto Arrows. That sends them on the run here, at least for a little bit. 2:45 still on the clock, though. They did make up some time unlocking that first payload, but now, you know, minute 30 waiting for them there if they can clear that second checkpoint here. So no time to waste here. Ravenloft will find one pick, though, onto the enemy Hela, and White Rat are going to go ahead and charge up that Gambit all that's going to hit, I think, almost everybody on the team here. So team fight incoming. Meteor M overhead, and an invisible boundary on the ground here tries to take down Ravenloft, but walks away with almost no HP left. Eye of Agamotto to try and stop Crystal Grove here, but doesn't really find its mark there. They will finish off the Gambit on the other side there. Ravenloft and Bluish Haze both picking up some KOs for their team here. They just need a little bit of a breakthrough here to get the cart through the door, and Sneaky Golem might have what they need there. One more KO for Arrows here. Just 2 meters to go. Strange Portal coming in to try and get the team back onto the point here, but it may be too little too late for Crystal Grove as Arrows picking up even more KOs here. Wolverine coming in, trying to slice and dice, but cannot get the damage to stick here. 2 meters left to go. Arrows still in this fight, but Crystal Grove not giving up. They are forced off the point, and 3 minutes left to go for Arrows to try and take us to a round 3 here on Central Park.
They are fighting tooth and nail for this victory as Arrows is making sure that Crystal Grove gives them the space. Ravenloft even looking for the super flank, trying to contest this Namor off on the side. Oh, it's gonna go ahead and give them quite a lead over on pushing the cart. If they can go ahead and get it to stairs, they are on a great spot. But Ravenloft just spends a little bit too much time in enemy backlines and pays with their life, as Red Lunar almost does the same.
Yeah, it just kind of gets caught out of position a little bit there. Crystal Grove finding a couple of KOs here, but Arrows slowly but surely charging up a huge blast of ults here. They're going to have 6 by the time the next team fight is ready. Crystal Grove not going to be too far behind, though. They'll have at least a few, but Arrows is not going to wait for that opportunity here. White Rabbit on the Gambit ult yet again, and the team invades here. Nesman throwing down the Eye of Agamotto, does find its mark a little bit there, and a couple of KOs from the Namor on the side of Arrows here. They will find their marks here. Less than 2 minutes to go, and Arrows is on the move here. Ravenloft and Bluish Haze cleaning house here.
We can't quite count out Crystal Grove as they're walking out with every ult in their pockets. They do go ahead and lose one. Unfortunately, as Ravenloft goes ahead and gets that pick on the enemy Hela, sparking the Gambit ults, go ahead and proc. Both support ults dropping. Corner Proteus as well. Both meteor ends looking on buff and forth. Getting blocked by Kobe. He can't go in the back line. Nesman soon falls. Hell Unleashed. Hitting everyone in the back as well.
Yeah, Ravenloft yet again like a satellite out of hell there above the heads of Crystal Grove, raining down damage and trying to finish this thing off. Not quite the breakthrough that I expected from Arrows here, though. Still 60 seconds left to go, and they are on the move here. Crystal Grove maybe has one more opportunity, but Bluish Haze is going to try to shut that down. A triple KO for the Namor, and we are going to extra rounds here on Central Park. Arrow's going to have a bit of a time advantage here, but not a lot between these two teams. So yeah, they're really giving us a run for our money here on map number 2.
Absolutely, they wanted to give us a show, and we are so thankful for it. We're ready to go and see as they the micro hover on the Iron Fist gave me a bit of a spark for joy, but unfortunately we're gonna go ahead and see right back onto the Namor. I believe there's a swap on in DC. But this was a very tight game with only 10-second difference for Arrows, as they do have to go ahead and actually swap off. They're playing on defense, right? So hopefully they can go ahead and lock down a bit of the issues that were happening at the very start, because they did lose the first point quite fast.
Yeah, defense was a little bit of a struggle for them, so having to swap sides here and play defense first could be a little bit rough, but man, the stat lines for Arrow's DPS line there, Ravenloft and Bluish Haze, 45 and 35 elims respectively. I mean, definitely putting in their work, especially on offense, picking up KOs left and right. But yeah, I think at least for Arrows, this is kind of getting the hard part out of the way for them. Defense not as strong on point number 1 here. They're gonna have to see if lightning can strike twice for Crystal Grove as they are back on offense.
From securing the mission area.
They didn't go ahead and try to do the portal at all, so they can go ahead and have it for this defense. Makes sense, as they've already wasted 10 seconds on the walk-in. They're being real slow, going far left where Crystal Grove really hoping to go ahead and pick over on the top side, as Ravenloft tries to hold it on his top end as well, almost picking the Namor, looking for the pull on to Nesman, who almost gets completely picked, but unfortunately is not done so. They're back and forth, healing on both sides. 30 seconds left on the clock. They need to go ahead and touch the card. Or charge the point, I'm sorry. We do have one falling on either end of Gambit on Hela. Another falls for the enemy Hela on Crystal Grove.
Yeah, not the KO that Crystal Grove wanted to see. Gambit sent back to the spawn. It's a short walk, but with 10 seconds left to go, not enough time to muster the team here. Frontline for Crystal Grove in trouble with that Gambit being out of commission here. Just a few seconds left to go, and there is going to be a Gambit touch here potentially, but no, can't quite make it. No OT, and that is all Crystal Grove is able to do here on offense. So pretty clear-cut path forward here for Arrows as we swap sides one last time.
That's still not much of a difference in time, so they can quite a bit hold this corner. I wonder if they're going to go ahead and try to swap comps. It doesn't seem like it's working right now, so I do want to note that we still do have an option to play Penny Rocket. Something cheesy. You guys have to try to figure out a way to hold them here. But it seems like we're going to go back to the Namor Hela, and we're going to go for the full-on match-to-match. I think that they are just quite confident in their abilities to go and hold this out. And with only a minute left on the clock, it is quite possible.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Arrows is approaching it from the angle of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, it's worked well for them here, though I will say it did take them some time to get the first checkpoint. So there is some potential here. I mean, they've only got, I believe, like a minute 10 or something like that on the clock here. So not a lot of time here. So they're going to have to clutch up at the last second here. But I mean, they have been on quite a hot streak since about halfway through their first offensive run. So they just need to cling onto that momentum here to close out this map and this match. Of course, this is a match point for them.
The battle starts in 5, 4,
Absolutely, and as Red Luna actually uses
2, 1.
Jeff for the Jeff bubble here. Are they actually walking on a Jeff? No, they're going to go back onto the Invis. All right, looking forward, just to get that movement speed, just a few seconds ahead on the point. Nesman looking forward, trying to build space for his team. He's going to go ahead and touch. Already almost able to go ahead and do so. They've lost 2 on Crystal Grove. Back line is looking super difficult for them to go ahead and hold as they go ahead and swap out. Zer falls to the entire front line, and they're able to go ahead and do so with 43 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely just wipes the floor with him right out the gate there. Ravenloft picking up a multi-KO just to get the ball rolling, and the rest of the team follows up. I mean, pretty much clinical from Arrows there at the very end, and with that minute 10, they just finish him off.
Oh, Nesman was able to go ahead and lock it down with those great portal plays. Able to go ahead and use his 9 to 5 clock in on the Strange. We'll go ahead and give this team the victory.
Yeah, and I mean, not necessarily easily won victory either for Arrows. I mean, well done, you know, this team, absolutely insane stuff from them, you know, especially on that offensive run on Central Park. But, you know, Crystal Grove really did put up a fight, again, like the first match we saw here on broadcast, you know, punching up here, right? Crystal Grove fighting upwards in seeding and putting up a fight, putting on a show for us here and for everyone watching. So, yeah. I mean, really, really great stuff from both of these teams, but it is Arrows' game to win there, and 49 and 43 elims for the DPS line. So very scary duelists there over on the side.
29 last hits on Ravenloft.
Yeah.
They traded themselves quite a bit, but they always made sure to take one with them. So that was all that mattered. Great showing while we're on the Hela side. 54% as well.
Yeah, I mean, value at every turn. Like, even the fights that Arrows kind of managed to get away from, they still made it a 2-for-1 or something. So those value adds kind of add up over time, right? And eventually you have such an advantage that you just take control of the map and finish it off. So yeah, I mean, great matchup between both of these teams. Of course, all teams are seeing on broadcast today, Division 1. So they fought their way through that initial Swiss stage with everyone fighting, and these are kind of the top 8 teams out of that. So you do expect to see matchups like that among these teams. But I do think we have one more matchup here for you on broadcast before we call it a day here.
I do. Yep, I do. Believe we do. Let me see what it was. Yes, I think we have Black Viper versus Get Lost tonight.
Yes, I do think so. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. And yeah, both of these teams, Black Viper, 4th seed team currently in the league, Get Lost, 5th seed. So both of them are you know, there's still one more week of competition left, so they're both kind of just outside of that that playoff qualification bubble, that top 2 in the division. So both of these teams are not out of this fight. They really want to try to win this. Both of them 3-2 record, with Black Viper's map differential just barely edging them out here. And as you can see, Black Viper, they've got some pretty standard meta comfort picks here. Hannibal does prefer the Captain America apparently, so that's an interesting one. Don't see as much Cap nowadays, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of a do or die match. You know, the team that wins this can advance in the rankings a little bit, but then needs to come in clutch again next week too. So yeah, some drama here for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's important to note that they actually do have similar picks as we kind of noticed before, but as you said, the Cap is quite interesting, seeing as he did get that change to that 30% ult charge. I'm curious if they have a lineup that it can abuse that quite well. They can go ahead and try to ramp up their support ults quite efficiently and honestly compete versus triple support comps by running a duo. So we'll see if Hannibal has hooked up something for us to go ahead and see on Black Viper.
Yeah, for sure. So 4th seed, a Black Viper. Their opponents, the 5th seeded Get Lost, also 3-2 currently. So both of these teams coming in with the exact same record. And like you said, kind of similar comfort picks here. You know, we see a Magneto again. We've got another Winter Soldier, another Luna Invis backline. So yeah, a lot of the teams kind of, you know, floating around the same level here are kind of gravitating towards the same picks.
Mm-hmm. The Invis, always so strong. Storm, honestly, getting quite a bit of love this patch with the damage boost. And of course, we saw the Jeff Nato hover for a little bit. But I do want to note that we don't see the Emma pick kind of making it on through in these games. And I'm wondering if it's even worth the saves as much for Malk. It's quite possible. We've seen Bucky quite a bit today as well. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that Emma has kind of fallen off in popularity. I feel like she didn't change too much, but I just don't see as many Emma Frost players now. You know, when she first came out, every single game was pick or ban Emma. She was at the top of stats in most played heroes in Ignite. I mean, you know, there's a lot of movement from her. So pretty interesting to see that it's just kind of gone by the wayside almost. I don't know if there's been any major changes or not that I remember, but it just seems like maybe not as popular of a choice among the comp players.
Yeah. I think that it just begs to ask if they want to go ahead and play against the newer things. I think it's worth noting when you play things that are new to the game, not only are you benefiting yourself because you're playing something a bit different, so it's not the same lackluster thing that you were doing before, but also it's better against people because they don't have nearly as much time playing against it, right? So when people are bringing out gambits, your team can kind of abuse the fact that the enemy isn't quite calculating the damage and so forth. But as we're getting right into the next game.
Yeah, I mean, ready to run it down here. So two pretty heated matchups here between teams that have some space between them in the seeding. But now these two teams pretty even here, similar records to one another, and both of them still potentially in contention to make that top 2 playoff cutoff here. But we will have to see how things go down. So Celestial Husk first for some domination action. You know, some environmental hazards here. So if somebody's got an Angela player, maybe we're gonna see some of that coming out. But yeah, definitely interested to see how they start things off here, whether we're going to see similar that we've seen these last couple matches or something's going to come out of left field.
And they're both hovering dive to a certain extent here. Of course, we do have the Magneto, but we're always going to go ahead and run that for the free combo along with Gambit. They go ahead and ban the Phoenix, actually, which is quite surprising, I would say. It's not a very typical ban.
Yeah, I don't...
Look at the Angela.
Oh, wow, yeah. Take out the Angela, too. Interesting. So definitely a lot different of a draft than we've seen on any map so far. But yeah, I'm with you. Don't see the Phoenix ban too much, but I don't know, maybe somebody's got some nightmares about Phoenix or something over there.
It's possible, as they're looking to go ahead and do their protect on to Bucky. Well respected. Solid DPS.
Yeah, I mean, can't go wrong with Winter Soldier. Again, I feel like, you know, we're not seeing a lot of strategist bans here. Again, teams don't seem to be preferring to ban the backline. They all want to run in here. I feel like I've noticed this in previous MRCs too. So these guys are going to ban Gambit, so we do have some strategist bans here. Not a bad choice. But yeah, I feel like in MRC matches before, I don't see a ton of strategists getting banned out. I don't know if that's a product of the ban system or just the teams prefer to let the strategist go through and focus on other problems on the board.
Well, as you say that, they go ahead and take out the tried and true Rocket. Oh, well, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it, the reason why they banned the Phoenix is because they're hovering the Angela Venom, right? They want to play more so of dive. You can go ahead and cancel the Venom ulti pretty effectively by just doing the right click on the floor. There's a lot of ways for you to kind of get out of the more aggressive type of dive style. They actually go ahead and defend the cap, so they actually have the cap and Winter Soldier team up for Black Viper. Off rip.
Yeah, you know, I don't see a ton of people utilize it, but I have seen plenty of games where Cap and Bucky are on the same team, so I would love to see it come out. But yeah, Cap, I do like some Captain America, just haven't seen him as much lately, but we're gonna get some dive in this game for sure. Venom save and Psylocke save from the side of Get Lost, so man, I mean, I feel like we're in for a very dive-heavy matchup between these two teams.
As they go ahead and respect ban the Hela, they don't want to have to deal with Hela Namor potentially. That makes sense, as they're going to potentially play dive themselves. They're going to go ahead and try to secure what kind of ban for this team. It's curious to note, I'm not entirely certain what they would want to go ahead and ban here. They banned the Loki, so they don't want any shenanigans of Loki Luna.
Pick your
They
hero.
actually go ahead
or
and
villain.
get Psylocke
I'm
on
not
both
judging.
sides as well. Okay.
Yeah, instantaneous Lord Psylocke locks from both teams. No shocker to me there. But yeah, I mean, you're right. Definitely leaning a little more strategist heavy in the bans this time. You banned Rocket, how dare you? But, you know, it's fine. I understand. Pretty good right now. You know, keep buffing him every season for some reason. But, yeah, I mean, again, you know, pretty solid draft from both sides of the board here. They, you know, like you said, they've got a couple of respect bans in there. Stop the Hela Namor team up. But I think both teams got plenty of value out of it here, so should at least make for a pretty decent matchup. But Get Lost, they're going to take advantage of the Venom here. No Venom from Black Viper quite yet, but yeah, at least these two definitely have different team comps, unlike you know, the mirror that we got there at the end of the last one. So nice to see some change-ups for sure.
Air actually was hovering the Storm a little bit ago. I thought they were going to go ahead and do the Storm Jeff Nato, but it seems like he went over to the Wolverine, kind of expecting a bit more of beef, especially since they did kind of defend the cap early on. So I'm expecting him to try to be marking Hannibal all game.
All you need to do is capture the mission area.
Yeah, definitely going to be a high-value target for the Wolverine there. But doors open. Map number 1 between these two teams. Celestial Husk for some domination. Lots of dive signaling in the draft phase for both of these teams. Of course, they both got some Psylocks here. Malk is going to take on the Venom here. We got Bucky. I mean, everything you could want is here. But that's a very quick first blood there for Hannibal on the side of Black Viper. So Cap will grab the first KO of this matchup here, and yet again without the point even being unlocked. And Walters there from Black Viper on that on the Psylocke will pick up yet another one. So a couple of very quick picks for Black Viper, and potentially looking for the first flip of the match.
A little
As they're able to go ahead and secure pretty easily. The difference being that the Walker's Psylocke had damage boost from Mantis, while Dracula did not. So they would go ahead and get quickly picked off before with Cap going on. And unfortunately, as Malk just gets picked for Get Lost as well.
Yeah, I mean, really, oh, wow, yeah, really fast picks there. Walker's yet again aggressive with the Psylocke and almost charged up for a Dance of the Butterflies there. It is ready to go here, but nice opening from Black Viper. They find that first capture, pretty minimal casualties as a result of that, and now in control of the point. They're going to have at least 2 ults, maybe the Soul Resurgence from Mantis as well, if that thing can get charged up before it Get Lost is able to dive back in.
And Walker was able to actually go ahead and get the Dance of the Butterflies off and get 3 off in the back on Get Lost. Dracula's the only one alive. Malk using his E to go ahead and live just barely, and actually just staggering himself off from his team as well. So now Get Lost has to go ahead and reset with 52% on the clock for Black Viper.
invisible?
Yeah, and withholding maximum resources for Black Viper too. Still 3 ults, and they'll have a freedom charge as well here as they push up just a little bit here to try and zone out Get Lost, keep them from getting onto that point here, and make it a nice last 30 to 40% capture progress for Black Viper here. Get Lost, they've got to get a couple ults going here because Black Viper is ready for a fight here, but it'll be Shobe that takes out the cap on the side of Black Viper, so freedom charge ready to go, but it is sent back to spawn here to at least even the odds there. Andrew finds the Psylocke on the side of Get Lost.
Oh, and again, as we get Kraken impact after Kraken impact, Error showing them that they can go ahead and be the super soldier for his team and stop Black Viper's ascent and progression. They're able to go ahead and kill almost 5 of them and able to go ahead and secure percentage for his team.
Again!
Yeah, insane stuff. Unfortunately, gonna have to just let the reset go, but can't be too upset about a penta KO there pretty early on in the match. So they'll stop Black Viper at 90%. They'll get the flip here, and now they are on the move. Freedom charge from Hannibal coming out here first. Gonna try to build some ult charge for the rest of the team. It's gonna be a Kraken impact from Andrew on the side of Black Viper now. So yet again here, and he will clean up Get Lost here. At least a 3K on to Get Lost. Full ace and a reflip for Black Viper. Aurora goes over to the Doctor Strange to try and last minute portal, but they may be too little too late here. The whole team is up in the portal. Very good here. OT proc.
And they're able to go ahead and actually pick the little bit first. Can go ahead and get the ulti. They're actually able to get the Emma as well. And unfortunately, Get Lost just lost their portal. And the round.
I'm afraid we're outnumbered.
Yeah, a very solid response from Black Viper here. I mean, Get Lost, they did everything right here. They had the Strange Portal. They had a lot of ultimates, though, that they did not utilize to try and stay on it there, and it all just kind of got rug pulled from out underneath them. So Black Viper does secure the point that they opened up on, yeah, already onto a early map point here.
The advantage that they do have for Get Lost is that they have so many ults available to them at the moment, so they can go ahead and try to get the early aggression on this point. This map is known for the first person to touch or the first team to go ahead and capture it is often the one that will win it out. So if they have 4 right off rip, they're able to go ahead and do so and secure it. Hopefully they can go ahead and get some sort of advantage. At the moment, though, it does seem like Shads has had a secure on the back line. Whenever Malk is able to go ahead and dive, they're able to get that sleep, they're able to get that ult off, and haven't had that many good engages.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm looking for Get Lost to get pretty aggressive out the gate here. It's just a soul resurgence. That's all they're up against here, so they've got the potential to try and take this thing early. Malk dives straight to the point on the Venom to start things off here, so they have a lot of weapons here, but the question is, how much do they expend to try and get the first cap, and how much do they hold on to defend it once they have it? That's going to be the answer here, so they need some kind of, Get Lost needs some kind of early pick here just to get the ball rolling, and they might find it on Animal.
They're able to go ahead and respond with a soul resurgence, and they will go ahead and dance with Luna, but they're trying to go ahead and use the dance of the butterflies on top of it. Everyone's stacking forward so no one go ahead and dies. It doesn't seem like it's enough. No one has picked the point quite yet. As Cap is doing his best to go ahead and dance around, he almost has ult and is getting killed. 85% gets one-shotted by the ult on Venom.
Yeah, I mean, great stall from Hannibal for sure. Still alive and still on the point, too. It's going to be Get Lost that's finding the receiving end here, but no Black Viper going down. Walker's yet again. 2K on the Psylocke here. Black Viper tries to even the odds here. Mog will find Shads, and Dracula will finally stop Walker's there on the side of Black Viper, and Get Lost will take the first cap out of that fight. So quite a reversal there for Get Lost. I did not think they were going to take that.
And they're actually almost able to go ahead and get a couple ults on top of that as well, but that Viper was able to go ahead and hold for surprisingly long. I'm surprised Hannibal was able to, for such a long time, able to go ahead and cap main to the extreme as they bounce on the back line. Emma's looking for the big charm, gets one, almost enough, but unfortunately dies before it can continue. Black Viper is going to go ahead and able to get secured, Get Lost with a 32%.
Yeah, I mean, great attempt with the Sonic Seduction, trying to draw Get Lost off the point, especially when they don't have ults here. But yet again, Get Lost finding the picks there. Aurora leading the charge for the team. Armored Winter Soldier here, yet another Elim chalked up to that wins column there. They will also find Soud there, Invisible Woman back to spawn, so they're gonna have to regroup here yet again. Get Lost already up to 50% capture, but Black Viper has the tools, but do they have the execution to try and make this flip here against Get Lost?
They were able to go ahead and get such a quick pick on the last round, and that's what they're needing for Walker to go ahead and do right now. He's looking for his ulti under the back line as he dashes onto the invis. Almost secures. Yes, they have lost both supports, and without having to use an ult at all.
Yeah, I mean, really solid opener there. This is what Black Viper's been looking for, the breakthrough they need to start getting control of this match here. Mulk trying to dance around on the point and buy some time for the rest of the team to get up there, but that Venom does have an end to the health pool, and that is it there. Found by Andrew on that Winter Soldier. So Black Viper here makes the flip and are on the move here, but they have quite a distance to make up between these two teams.
Much better.
Absolutely, they only need one more team fight win or get lost.
I'm ready to put on a
forced
show.
to go ahead and ulti, and almost does in fact save the Emma. And in fact, Walker uses their life for the ult as the Silent Seduction is coming on through, trying to go ahead and give him the backline as a butterfly as well. He's hitting everyone. Charm, rapid impact, trying to get resets. Invisible boundary off. Unfortunately, he couldn't get one, get three. On a reset. Everyone on Get Lost has died except for Mouth trying to go ahead and dash to the backline. They need to go ahead and reset with 40% left for Black Viper. They were able to go ahead and secure the fight with no ults left.
Yeah, I mean, huge win. That invisible boundary from Soud came in so clutch there. Let him fight on the point and just defend as you need to. But now reset for both teams here. No ultimates, but Black Viper does have a little bit of an advantage here. Get Lost will at least have an invisible boundary, so not the worst position to be in here. But both teams going to be fighting without a lot of resources here. But Aurora doesn't need the Kraken impact there. Takes out the enemy Bucky on the Black Viper, and now that might be the opening that Get Lost has been looking for, but the Walkers back on it again on the Psylocke, taking down the Winter Soldier here and just making it an even trade.
When Hannibal able to go ahead and touch the point again just for a second, stopping Get Lost for progression, but they're able to go ahead and finally cap, slowly creeping up to go ahead and make it 1-1. It's not looking like they have an opportunity to go ahead and just as Mouth is pacing the Psylocke, making sure that they can't go ahead and touch. A TP in time, in fact.
Yeah, they're going to make it in. I mean, a lot of pressure from Get Lost. They played it very smart here, but they do have to win this last fight here. Freedom Charge coming out from Hannibal, and Walkers does have Dance of the Butterflies ready to go here. Get Lost has a lot of ults here, though. If Shob can land this Jeff ult, that could be the flip that they need here. He does go under here, looking for some victims here, but doesn't really find his mark. A miss there for the It's Jeff, and now overtime for Get Lost here, as Dracula will clean up half of Black Viper. 3K on the Psylocke here, and Get Lost keeps it going, sending them packing back to the spawn room, and we are going to point number 3.
They were able to go ahead and use such a good amount of confusion and hostility on their end. Get Lost was able to go ahead and be way more aggressive in this match.
Yeah, a lot more control for them, a lot more confidence. They seem a lot more comfortable being in the driver's seat than they did on point number 1, for sure.
Error actually has his ult up on Psionic Seduction, going to follow on suit with the
30
Emma.
seconds before you attack. Get
Black
ready.
Viper having the invisible boundary over on their disposal. This map is actually the most fair, I would like to say, between the three on this point. So it's going to be a bit more dicey for either side on Get Lost or Black Viper. I don't really see too many changes, except we actually do see the judge on show.
The battle starts in 5.
Yeah, I mean, this Celestial Husk is interesting for Dom because it's like the map of giant pillars in the middle of every capture point. So it does kind of make for some weird angles sometimes in those big team fights here. It kind of makes things a little messy here. But, you know, between these two teams, they both have had solid captures on each point that they have been able to grab here. Get Lost can maybe get aggressive here if they so choose, but there is an invisible boundary waiting for them on Black Viper here. So Aurora might be holding on to that Kraken impact for a little while. style here. But once again, I'm not going to wait for the point to spawn. We're just going to start brawling.
And they go ahead and use that invisible boundary, and unfortunately aren't able to go to get a reset for Bucky's on track and impact. And both Bucky's have fallen on either side as they're trying to go ahead and lock it down. And 5 people on either corner as they're trying to go ahead and dive onto the Jeff on Hannibal, looking for the back line. Can't do so, continuously getting pushed back off. Neither team being able to go ahead and lock it down quite yet. Venom looking on the back line as well. Hasn't found an angle to go and dive, but it has his ult quite soon and is looking for the engagement on the backline onto the Emma. This is Psionic Seduction. They're looking to go ahead and one-shot, but they have the Jeff ult to go ahead and save the Venom.
Yeah, I mean, Black Viper is slowly turning this thing their way, right? One at a time here, trickle them back to the spawn room and eventually making the flip here. Hannibal on that freedom charge, trying to get some ults to his teammates. Walkers will have the Dance of the Butterflies here, but they may not even need it. First cap going to Black Viper here on point number 3. So big wins for Black Viper here, trying to interrupt that momentum that Get Lost built on second point here.
And Dracula trying to go ahead and build momentum for Get Lost, but unfortunately gets picked themselves. Walker looking with the damage boost on the bottom right corner, trying to see if they can go ahead and flank with the Dance of the Butterflies. Trying to go ahead and get to the back line. Jeff looking quite juicy for them. Mount sniffing as well, trying to go ahead and get the enemy back lines.
3 ults, maybe 4 here once that invisible boundary comes back up for Black Viper here. So big potential for them to hold this thing until the end of time here. Dance of the Butterflies coming down from Walkers, and we'll find the enemy Psylocke to open things up here. Chasing down the Venom, and we'll get the 2K off of it here to keep things rolling. 3 ults still standing for Black Viper here. 1 aggressive and 2 support ults. And yeah, all they needed was that Dance of the Butterflies to send Get Lost scrambling here just a little bit. So back in control for now here, and maybe gonna wait for Dracula to walk it back before they try to sneak it.
They are trying to go ahead and find a different angle by coming off the bottom side, even going ahead and using their own Dance of the Butterflies onto the point. They've actually gone and able to go ahead and find 3, but they've used every ult. They've used everything for this point. They still haven't captured.
Yeah, another big Kraken impact from Aurora here. They'll finally make the flip. 73% captured for Black Viper, and they've still got 2 ultimates. So Shub will have the It's Jeff. I think there's a Psionic Seduction and an Invisible Boundary come and Get Lost away here before too long. But there's still a lot of ground here for Get Lost to make up.
Absolutely. And they're trying to go ahead and find the angle as Andrew gets hooked himself and is able to go ahead and dash out. They're trading back and forth, trying to go ahead and get those picks, but unfortunately, it seems like he's able to go ahead and turn it on to Get Lost, as he's able to go ahead and turn the pick into a pick for themselves. They've lost everyone on their team.
Farewell.
And they're able to go ahead and quickly lock it down after using those 3 ults at the start to go ahead and secure it earlier. They only ended up getting 35% and have got time for Black Viper.
Yeah, I mean, very likely this next one is going to be final fight territory here. 85% and going here, but Hannibal is going to go ahead and pop the freedom charge to let them get aggressive with it here. They're going to push them all the way up to spawn to try and close out the map here. 2K for Andrew on the Bucky here, and they're trying to keep it rolling here. And 8 on the side of Get Lost throws the Psionic Seduction down, but is taken down almost right away here. The Jeff ult coming in clutch does find the Psylocke, but that's all he'll get, and he can't even make it out. Overtime in effect for Get Lost here as Malk on the Venom trying to keep things going here. Psionic Seduction from MRC on the side of Black Viper here. They're going to let every ult they have rip to try and close this thing out. Tact Wolf on the side of Get Lost, though, throws that invisible boundary down. There's a strange portal from Aurora yet again here, and Get Lost is trying to hang on to this point. White Knuckle grip that they just can't grab onto. Eye of Agamotto does find one. They'll take down the Emma as well. 2 members of Black Viper left standing. 2 members of Get Lost here. It is tanks and a Psylocke fighting on this point, but just not enough here. Get Lost will make the flip, and Black Viper will have to wait for another opportunity to try and close out the map.
Wow. Dracula was able to go ahead and contest it. They actually TP'd back really quickly. They actually almost secured, and they almost capped it. No one contesting onto the point, looking forward as they walk on out. Walker dies right away. Hannibal is able to go to the point. Andrew as well, having gotten picked. Now, Get Lost holding air, having swapped over to the Human Torch, able to go and fly back quite a bit and zone the entire point.
they're buying quite a bit of time now and actually gets a further pick onto both supports before dying himself.
Yeah, good stuff from Get Lost here. They're still in control of the point. It is coming down to the wire now. 75% captured for them here, but not a lot of ults for both sides of the board. Black Viper does have that freedom charge up yet again. Get Lost is going to have a dance of butterflies, and that is always a game changer almost every time that thing launches. So Get Lost is looking to try and close things out here, but Hannibal once again leading the charge for the team on that freedom charge to get things going. Dracula, dance of the butterflies, comes down, does find the invis here, but MRC is going to even the odds here, taking out the Luna on the side of Get Lost here. It's a 2-for-1 now, favoring Black Viper, and the ults coming out now. Psionic Seduction to take out the Venom here. Retake by Black Viper. They're in control, and almost no bodies for Get Lost left. Sent back to the spawn here. They will chase down the Jeff, and that is all she wrote for Celestial Husk here. It belongs to Black Viper. A hard-fought battle, though.
Wow. Get Lost really showing some life there at the end of this particular round, but it was not enough before it ended up having to give it to Black Viper. This was a crazy hard-fought game. Crazy hard-fought. I will say that they have to go ahead and possibly ban this cap. Hannibal has done a bit, you know, he's shown off, I get it. He's able to go ahead and give that reset for Walker and for Bucky quite a bit. Once he gets damage boosted, he's actually able to do a significant amount of damage himself and move into the back line. While they ended up actually swapping to, you know, some inspired picks, I would say, over on to Get Lost side, it just was not enough and the value just was not there. At the end of the day, they were able to go ahead and just get enough of the ultimates from the DPS side on Black Viper to actually give them not one, but two, sometimes 3 kills at least. And that's really what ended up giving them the victory.
Yeah, I mean, kind of looking ahead and thinking about what the next draft is going to be. Black Viper has a couple of really big standouts. You know, like you said, the cap may be worth a Captain America ban here for sure. Of course, you know, the other DPSs on the side of Black Viper, you know, both the Winter Soldier and the Psylocke, I could make arguments to ban both of them, but Get Lost has also been using them. You know, Dracula came in clutch several times on the Psylocke, and Aurora's Bucky is looking pretty good too. So, I mean, it is a tough call going into this next draft. Do you try to ban out those problems and take them away from your own teammates? How deep are their hero pools? Can they outlast that? I mean, there's a lot of questions here that that Get Lost is gonna have to answer if they want to stay in this fight.
Absolutely. Now we're just gonna go ahead and quickly prepare ourselves for this next round here as we're getting right on in. I can't wait, but I'm honestly curious what their changes are going to be, if at all, as we talked about in the bans. Let's see really quickly if they're going to go ahead and do so. They even hovered some things earlier, so I really do think that they're going to give us some sort of show this next match.
Yeah, I think so too. So we're back on some Convergence action. Map 2 going to be Central Park yet again here. Black Viper trying to close this thing out. Get Lost looking to take us to a map 3 to potentially win this thing. Of course, these two teams dead heat in the standings, both 3-2, both looking to try and claw their way into a playoff position. So it is truly do or die for both of these teams here. Black Viper has that advantage going in here, but Get Lost has got to change some things up here. They won't change up their opening ban though. It is going to be Phoenix yet again. So they are not quite going after Black Viper's potential targets just yet, but they're going to stick with the Angela too. So far, I mean, pretty similar to what we saw last time. No opportunity to ban the Winter Soldier though. Black Viper will save him first.
Yep. And Get Lost knows that they can't go ahead and get rid of the Bucky, but they can go ahead and get rid of his best friend, Steve Rogers, on the cap. Otherwise, save themselves a rocket to go ahead and give them that res beacon, give them opportunity to kind of stop one of the times that they do get picked and actually reconverge onto the enemy. Emma actually go ahead and save for Black Viper, which admittedly they got quite a bit of value from. Huge Sadonic Seductions that entire game. They actually go ahead and defend Loki as well on Get Lost side, which gives me quite curious. I'm wondering if they're going to go ahead and run triple support. That's what it's running into.
Yeah, definitely signals it pretty strong. Black Viper seeing it come in. They don't want Mantis triple support to be a thing that they're going to have to face off on potential match point for them here. So Mantis ban to close things up. But yeah, I do feel like it does signal some triple support. I mean, Adam Warlock is on the table. If they wanted to go for a double res comp here, they definitely could. And that might be some of the sustain that they need to withstand Black Viper's damage, because they've got some serious damage output here. But Aurora at least on the Storm for now. Get Lost will be on the attack first, so not a bad choice to start things off either.
Absolutely, and they actually do end up going triple healer on Black Viper with the Atom, as you said. They actually do have the res beacon, so they are triple resed up. And they also do have the, of course, buff Root with the wall ability, allowing him to go ahead and hold his position on the corner quite easily now, as he's not going to be able to go ahead and get pushed and or displaced anyway. Though Dracula is admittedly back onto the Psylocke, which we did see was quite good on this last match.
Yeah, I mean, really kind of kept Get Lost in the fight at some of those critical moments, and they're going to open this offensive run with that Psylocke on board. Hannibal on the Groot, as we saw that cap ban, unfortunately hamstrings him just a little bit there, but going to try to play through. Walkers is on the Adam Warlock. Definitely seen the duelist players pick up Adam in a triple strategist situation, so no big surprise there. But yeah, Get Lost, I expect to see them go a little aggressive here, and that they are. I mean, they are pushed right up to the edge of the capture zone here to start things off, trying to put some damage down, really going after Hannibal on the Groot. Banning out his cap just wasn't quite enough for this Get Lost squad for sure.
Wasn't quite enough, as they're going ahead and using the Storm. I was going to say the Storm and the Psylocke combo go ahead and push on forward, but the Psylocke goes again and gets picked. Unfortunately, as they go ahead and walk forward and continuously use the Groot walls to go ahead and displace the healers from being able to go ahead and touch their front line. Andrew's going to look for a hook and able to go ahead and do so, and actually finds it on Storm.
Yeah, I mean, quite a wrench in the works here to start things off from Black Viper. Not a bad defensive position to be in. 2 support ults online and a Groot ult coming their way before too long here. Get Lost has 3 up as well here, so going to be a bit of a fight here. Aurora going to be the first one, though. Omega Hurricane coming down. Potential Jeff NATO inbound here, as Show does have it's Jeff online. Yes, it is Jeff NATO coming in clutch here for Get Lost. Finds 3 at least, and Aurora is looking to make it more here, but a Rocket BRB beacon will get MRC back in the fight. So what? Emma Frost back up into this fight, but Get Lost making some serious progress here as they take down Adam as well here. So very, very devastating Jeff NATO coming out from Get Lost to get them in this fight here.
Absolutely, as they were trying to go ahead and encounter Revival, but they barely do so, as he reses onto the point and is able to buy time for the team to go ahead and TP on it. The 2 get picked immediately, Comet Revival shortly after. They're trying to go ahead and bring them forth. Unfortunately, it seems like they were trying to get on the back line. Kraken Impact barely misses the Storm. Trying to go ahead and cook on the back line as well. Dashed onto the Psylocke, immediately ulties and is able to go ahead and get 2-3 with her ult.
Yeah, and great timing on the Dance of the Butterflies right after the Karmic Arrival when you're not quite steady on your feet yet. You've got a little bit low health there. Dracula finishes them off. Checkpoint unlocked here. 4:15 on the clock for Get Lost, and they are already on the move here. So yet again on Central Park, team starting out aggressive and fast on offense to get things going.
Absolutely, and they have to go ahead and actually change their comp. We see Walker immediately act on the Psylocke, does not like the Adam pick at all, wants to go ahead and swap right on back. Actually, and decides to go Punisher here. Curious note, as they're trying to go ahead and try to, I'm assuming, shoot down the Storm periodically. He was playing quite low to the ground.
Yeah, a little bit dangerously low there from Aurora on the Storm here. Psionic Seduction from MRC, though, the one ult they've got right now, just trying to get some control over this Get Lost team. They will take down the Psylocke on Get Lost there. Show does have its Jeff yet again here, and maybe another Jeff NATO coming out from Get Lost, and yes, it is yet again. Grab your umbrella there, because Jeff NATO coming in clutch here, finding 1 yet again, 2, 3, and looking for even more there. Quadra KO from the combination of Aurora and Show on that Jeff NATO. So once again, the ult combo, it does cost you 2 ults, but definitely would take a quad out of any 2 ult combo any day.
Absolutely. Walker trying to go ahead and build his ult up for the very reason of taking out Aurora on his Storm, but they've already had to give up 2 points for it. It's 4:20 on the clock. Now what are they going to go ahead and try to do? As he does actually get Aurora on the back end.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sniped down by that. Like you were saying, the Punisher coming in clutch to go storm chasing here. Black Viper now swinging their direction. The momentum is, just a few ults here for them. Get Lost, though, they will have one ult advantage, but that final judgment from Walker's gonna come in clutch here. Sonic Seduction from KG now coming down from Get Lost there, but super low on the Emma and taken down there. Meteor M overhead from Hannibal does not make its mark here, but very, very swift and very, very effective response from Black Viper to stop Get Lost from mustering that attack.
Absolutely, as they're trying to collect themselves in the back corner. Storm picked off again on Aurora, really trying to get that ult, to get that Jeff NATO push on forward, but they keep staggering the Storm so she can't get the ult herself, making it really unlucky for them to go ahead and push forward with the Jeff because they don't have an aggressive sort of combo that they were kind of using for. Actually get picked on the Emma as they try to go ahead and kick Andrew right on off.
No follow-up from the pick. I could have sworn there was going to be something after the Emma went down here, but both teams kind of played close to their chest here. Get Lost has made a lot of progress here. Still 3 minutes to go here, so maybe not wanting to stick their necks out too far here. But before long, Black Viper is going to be fully charged here. Omega Hurricane coming down yet again. You've seen it twice now. Potential third Jeff NATO inbound for Black Viper, and they cannot stand up to the might of the Storm here. They do not find as much value out of it, and finally they take down Aurora here. So Black Viper, they've seen it 3 times now, and they know the response. The response is simply to shoot down the Storm.
Unfortunately, the one thing that Storm can't block is bullets. She'll have to go and eat that. It's going to take out Jeff right away. And now it seems like they're trying to go ahead and hold forth. If they only have 2 minutes left on the clock, they should not be pressed for time, as Walker does bunker on down in this back corner, trying to go ahead and shoot. And they have the Dance of the Butterflies over in the back line, immediately proccing the invisible boundary. And on both ends, as either team tries to go ahead and get a foothold with the cart over on top, Walker almost gets picked and eventually does, trying to not fall off on the side. Aurora looking forward and trying to go ahead and build his ult, with Meteor M actually going over and hitting one and getting the buck.
Yeah, nice smoke grenade from Walkers to not fall down the pit. I've never seen that before, but really solid. So stays alive, avoids the map hazard, but can't avoid the airmail from MRC. The Eye of Agamotto from overhead, but countered very quickly by Get Lost. They are a lot snappier on it here. Responses coming very quickly from this offense team here. Black Viper caught on the back foot here. 1:30 left to go, but ground quickly being gained by Get Lost. 100 meters progress now. Sonic Seduction from KG, and the ults are flying in all directions here. Aurora again on that Omega Hurricane. They are trying it once again here. Jeff NATO combination. The Omega Hurricane will find one there, but just not as much value as they were getting at first. So I really feel like Black Viper has figured out this Omega Hurricane thing.
They have, and they're actually trying to go ahead and use the invisible boundary on either side, but just a little bit too late to go ahead and save the Emma on Black Viper's end. They do end up have the gates right behind them to go ahead and try to reset, but they do have Bucky going back and forth trying to get the resets back. Has 2, looking for a third kill, but no reset, as they do waste enough time. There's only 35 seconds on the clock. Aurora having swapped over to Strange, looking for that portal. He's trying to go ahead and touch as soon as his team is ready. Building time for himself, waiting before they can go ahead and port on in.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta clear the map right here. Like, they don't want to have to go to extra rounds when Black Viper already has the 1 map advantage.
Much better.
He's stuck in their trap. The final 10 seconds.
Last opportunity here. Get Lost gonna try to make something happen with just a few seconds left to go. They've got a Dance of the Butterflies, but that's all they have here. Shove goes down just a couple percent short of the It's Jeff here. Dance of the Butterflies does come down and finds one there. The Loki for Get Lost will find a KO as well, but it's just a 2 for 2 here as we head to overtime. Soud on the run there, pretty low, but they will take down the Winter Soldier. Walker finds him, charges the final judgment there, and goes for the damage here. Meteor M goes and comes right back down. Black Viper trying to finish off the last few members here. Walkers finds the 3K on that Punisher ult. Shads does throw down the CYA from the rocket just to try and finish him off, and Get Lost cannot clear the map, but make a heck of a lot of progress.
Time to switch things up.
Wow,
including
it
which
seems
side
like they were actually able to go ahead and figure out, as you said, the Storm combination. Walker swapping over to the Punisher was just the answer for them. They weren't able to go ahead and burst him fast enough, and he was actually got quite a clutch shield from Hannibal there at the end to go ahead and block that Meteor M and actually wipe out the rest of the team. Swapping on right back to Psylocke for that more aggressive start.
Yeah, I mean, the team play from Black Viper is really solid. Ults being activated in tandem, like you said, the Magneto shield coming down at the right time. I mean, they are working pretty well together here, and they're able to stop the bleeding. So Get Lost about 104 meters or so on that third and final checkpoint. So they almost need to clear essentially the whole map in order to win this thing, but their work is pretty clear cut now, and Black Viper is quite on a tear. So yeah, the Jeff NATO problem has been solved. Get Lost, I think for the most part, they do make a couple swaps. Dracula's back onto Adam here once again, so they are going to look to hunker down and try to stay on this point and just eat away at Black Viper's time. So this is match point potentially for Black Viper, but definitely a long road ahead of them to close this thing out.
Absolutely, as we're actually getting some interesting swap arounds. Oh. Nope, we're trying to go ahead and just grief the casters. It's totally fine, as we have Adam and Loki, as you said, on the triple. They're actually trying to look for an early portal. Is this on? So Hannibal's looking to try to get a sneaky touch on it.
Yeah, they're going to try and move as quick as they can here. Overhead, Doctor Strange portal. Oh, yeah, and the Punisher combo. So, yeah, minigun right through the portal. And they do find some serious damage in there. But it is Black Viper, at least, that'll get first blood off that.
So we're throwing it back to season 0 as we're trying to go ahead and do the portals and the Punisher. But it does work as they're able to go ahead and touch onto the port with 3 minutes on the clock. They're actually able to go ahead and quickly get this. As we noticed before, we ended up having the triple strategist holding on this back end, but the problem with triple strat is that you won't build your ults fast enough because you guys are healing each other and healing the team, yes, quite fast, but you won't have ults to compete against the enemy's ults. You only have healers, as they're going to have to go ahead and use those. Or as well as they barely don't cap, and they have invisible boundary on as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're grabbing control of this thing at the last second here. CYA from Shads coming down yet again. Black Viper trying to finish off that last little bit of progress. They need to get this payload off and running here, but it is going to be 1 KO from Aurora onto the Winter Soldier there on the Black Viper. That does force out the invisible boundary. Walkers on that Dance of the Butterflies to try and zone. Oh, Get Lost just a little bit to try and finish off the capture progress here. It is still contested here. At least 1 or 2 members of each team on. Agamotto from Get Lost there does find the backline of Black Viper, but Black Viper still fighting on the point there. Emma still trying to hold this thing and finish it off. Just a smidge of progress is all they need, but Black Viper can't quite find it.
Oh, man, that was very clutch. They almost ended up finding this double on the backline, but he was able to go ahead and get charmed before he could actually go ahead and get the pop off. So very unfortunate. It seems like they're going to have to go ahead and regroup here. We have Magneto on the back end with Meteor M, and we have Tack Wolf using the invisible boundary quite soon. They did go a bit more aggressive with the Venom and the Bucky combination here shortly. I believe they're going to go ahead and try to be as aggressive as possible. They do have the Lucky Force kind of abuse as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's some serious options here. Meteor M coming up overhead from N8, goes down, does not find its mark here. That's going to force out invisible boundary from Tack Wolf and a whole slew of ultimates from Black Viper here. Andrew holding on with just a few health, but can't quite make it there. That is a lot of ultimates used by both sides, but not a lot of value for either side of the board here. Black Viper still sitting on that second tick of progress with just about 60 seconds on the clock here. Walker throws down the Dance of the Butterflies to try and get something going. They will find almost every member of Get Lost, and that is the breakthrough they've been searching for over the past 3 minutes.
Absolutely. And they did run the clock quite a bit.
Stop us now.
They're actually gonna have little bit under 3 minutes by the time they actually get Ratatasker all the way to the corner. Get Lost is really looking to dwindle the timer as much as possible for Black Viper. I think they're trying to hold him off by second point. It seems like their strategy. They do have Loki trying to go ahead and get as best copy as possible, though they swapped off the triple support. They've actually used Show going with Storm.
Yeah, so they stole the Omega Hurricane there, so yet again, another Omega coming down from Get Lost here, though this time from Shob. I don't know if I've ever seen the Loki copy onto Storm before, so that's new. Kraken Impact online for Black Viper, as well as a CYA, so they do have some offensive potential here. Andrew, though, doesn't even need the Kraken Impact. Left click to the spawn room is Aurora. Does throw down that Kraken Impact, looking to keep the ball rolling here. I don't know if he's going to get the reset, though. Again, there, 1 KO for that Kraken Impact. Looking for more here, but just can't quite find the angle. The rest of Black Viper will be able to pick up some KOs here, and I don't know, they might be able to come in and recontest at the last second, but that is going to be some serious progress.
No, absolutely. Walker has the Dance of the Butterflies as Hannibal's trying to go ahead and buy time. The Storm, real Storm's ult coming on in with Aurora, but it's getting solo ulti by the Psylocke as everyone's trying to go dunk on it. It gets choked immediately as well. A Shade's trying to go ahead and find the angle. The two get picked on Get Lost as well. Emma dies. Walker gets picked. Black Viper's getting pushed out. Trying desperately, Andrew's trying to get every pick on the cart. Pulls 2. Is able to do so. And Dracula's looking to go ahead and get anything on them, but unfortunately gets picked themselves. And they actually are able to get the cards.
Like pulling teeth for Black Viper here. They do overcome the Get Lost defense here, and now staring down the last leg of the map here. If Black Viper can match that capture progress, they will take game, set, and match here. They're going to have some resources in their back pocket to do it. Hannibal's got that Feast of the Abyss. Shads is going to have a CYA beacon up before too long. Kraken Impact online for them, and an invisible boundary. So there's a lot of questions about to come Get Lost away, and I don't know if they have the answers for it, but they are certainly going to try here.
Absolutely, and they've tried swapping off quite a bit. Job has stayed on the depth, looking for this angle, trying to go ahead and use. In fact, Hannibal's actually getting 2. They used the combination with the Rocket ulti and the Kraken Impact to go ahead and buy momentum. They've actually killed all 6 on Get Lost.
Wow, complete ace, and I believe that is the end. I don't know if they can get up and running here. Aurora and Tact are both intact here and trying to make their way down for a hold here, but how long can they realistically do it with DPS and strategist health pools? They can't get there in time. With a minute 45 on the clock, Black Viper will close it out. Another 2-0 win for them here.
And this was really close until it wasn't. Unfortunately, just immediately jumped on with all of their ults using in tandem. Every ulti using damage boost, utilizing it correctly. It was just a really hard hold on Get Lost part, and I wasn't feeling the triple strategist lineup. I'll be honest, when we saw it at the beginning, it was Black Viper that started it out with the Atom on Walker, and then they immediately got pushed out. But then they thought that it was a good idea for them to do so themselves, and it left them really out in the open. I'm not sure if it was completely just playing it differently would have worked it out, but at the end of the day, they knew it didn't work for them. So why would it work for like another team? Trying to go ahead and do so, enforcing the Atom, I think put them in a spot. And I know that it kind of worked out initially, but I'm not really a fan. When Dracula was having such a good time on the Psylocke and then immediately having to swap back onto it, it just makes everything really confusing, I think, for the team in general. I think they were trying to desperately find an answer, it didn't work.
Yeah, I agree. It does kind of feel that way. It kind of feels like they were trying something that they may not be super experienced with, a strategy that they're not entirely comfortable with. And yeah, ultimately it gets them a little bit of progress, but you know, I feel like they didn't think about maybe what the next steps are after, you know, you pop the atom all. What do you do after that? It seems like there was just no backup plan for it. So yeah, I mean, Black Viper was absolutely on a tear here. You know, a single misstep would have been enough for Get Lost to get bowled over, and it does feel like that's ultimately what went down here. So I mean, again, you know, you look across the board, these three matchups, you know, all 2-0s, but all very close to maps. I mean, if you look at just the numbers, it's like, okay, 2-0, they just dominated. But really, especially in this last matchup we just watched here, I mean, not the case at all, right? These teams are very, very close. So, you know, that's kind of the competition you expect out of a Division 1 team like that. So very, very solid stuff from all three matchups today.
Absolutely. I'm a little sad we didn't get to see some crazier picks, but I'm happy that we got to see some good Marvel Rivals. It's honestly quite an experience to kind of see these Division 1 teams sort of going back and forth at it and really trying to use the meta as best as possible, really, you know, using and abusing gambits, the team ups with Magneto and so forth. I really enjoyed the group play as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these teams have a lot of bright spots. Yeah, definitely taking advantage of what Season 5 has to offer. So, you know, looking down the board, again, like we said, all 2-0s. Menace takes it over Crimson Eclipse 2-0. Arrows Iridium will take it 2-0 over Crystal Grove, and Black Viper 2-0 over Get Lost that we just saw. One more match left over. That is the Apollo squad from Militia. They will win by forfeit. Millennium does FF that match there. So 4 2-0s across the board. But again, I mean, these are matches you really have to sit down and watch overall. So, I mean, yeah, outside of that, overall standings, Arrows, they are still undefeated, and Menace at 5-1. That makes those two right now the two teams that'll qualify out of the division into playoffs. So Black Viper does win, but the question now is, can they win next week? And is that enough to propel them into that top two spot? So still some questions to be answered in week number 4 for sure.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to go ahead and see it then. It was a pleasure just watching the games in general and streaming here and hosting it with you, Diatonic, so thank you so much for the games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that does it for our 4 matches for today. Thank you all so much for joining us for some MRL Division 1 action. I've been Diatonic. That's been Nightmare. Thank you all so much on behalf of Menace for coming out and playing in the event and tuning in to watch the matches. We will see you next week for week number 4, the last week of regular season play before playoffs. Don't miss it.